a revolution in media.
Top dance, all of me, everything.
It's the Global Tourism Resilience Conference. Tune in to Cliff Views Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from the Princess Grand Resort in Hanover on February 17. The third edition of the Global Tourism Resilience Conference brings together tourism leaders, innovators, and experts from around the world to engage in insights and ideas. Expect panel discussions, networking sessions, and presentations on how to future-proof the travel and tourism sectors. Tune in to Cliff Views Online on Monday, February 17 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Global Tourism Resilience Conference at the Princess Grand Resort in Hanover. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica Tourist Board.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Andrew Cannon. Coming up in the news for this Saturday, February 15, 2025, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is rejecting claims of Jamaica's economy being weak as a general election looms. Police in St. Anne are mourning the passing of a colleague who died last night after sustaining injuries in a motor vehicle crash 2 weeks ago. Councillor in the St. Anne Municipal Corporation chastises political colleagues for what she believes is blatant disrespect to administrative staff. On the international scene, at least 15 killed in New Delhi station crush, while in sport, Arsenal, they are keeping their Premier League hopes alive after victory today. The details after this.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness is rejecting claims of Jamaica's economy being weak as the country goes into a general election. The Prime Minister, who was speaking in K Valley St. Anne on Friday, is also brushing aside concerns that the country is in a recession.
I've seen reports suggesting that the economy is in recession. Recessions are a natural part of what is called the business cycle. Sometimes the economy goes up, sometimes it gogoes down. Under the PNP, the economy never went up. It was always either flatlining or declining. What we have managed to achieve here in Jamaica is a resilient economy, meaning that when unexpected things occur, we are able to respond to it, absorb the shock, and grow after.
The technical definition of a recession is 2 or more quarters of economic contraction. It's a definition that the country has met based on Minister of Finance Favour Williams' statement in Parliament on Thursday. The Prime Minister says the country faced significant disruptions due to weather-related shocks during this fiscal year, causing the recent downturn. However, he says the measure of a government is its ability to weather those shocks and recover quickly. Mr. Holness says there is more to a country's economic strength than the technical definition of a recession.
The latest report on consumer confidence and business confidence shows that both are rising, so that the outlook and the expectation of people is that the economy is going to do well. Jamaica is not in a recession. Recession is not only that the economic growth has declined for 2 quarters. It is a necessary condition if you want to say that there is a recession, but it's not sufficient because you need to look at other variables, other factors. Unemployment. If the economy declines significantly, then you would expect to see a rise in unemployment. That is not happening. Consistently, we are showing very good unemployment figures. And in fact, we have been showing consistently for the last decade a decline in unemployment, and we are now at the lowest ever unemployment figure.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Holness has defended the credibility of the budget for the upcoming fiscal year. He says the relative reduction in the budget compared to the current year is as a result of cutting debt payments by nearly half.
I want to clarify that the budget that is presented is a strong and credible budget, and there are some points which we should note and note very well. Firstly, the budget for last year, for this fiscal year rather, has provisions for $317 billion in the principal portion of our debt repayment. This year, we have $163 billion for the principal portion of debt repayment. That means that we are paying back this year much less debt than we paid back last year.
The Holness government plans to spend a total of $1,260 billion for fiscal year 2025-2026. It's almost $126 billion less than the third supplementary estimates tabled in January. Mr. Holness says the reduction in debt payments frees up more money to spend on the country.
So what that means is that the money that we would have had to pay for debt in the current fiscal year coming to a close, we don't have that stress on us anymore. It means our total debt is going down. And when your debt is going down, you have more money in your pocket to do things like what we are doing here, building social housing.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Police in St. Anne are mourning the passing of one of their colleagues who succumbed to injuries sustained in a motor vehicle crash more than 2 weeks ago. Detective Corporal Garfield Letford died on Friday in hospital. On January 27, Detective Corporal Letford sustained multiple injuries in a crash on the Landover Main Road, about 4 miles from the runaway base station where he was assigned. He was first admitted at St. Anne's Bay Hospital in an unconscious state with multiple injuries, including damage to his brain and several broken bones. He was later transferred to a medical facility in Kingston, where he died Friday, February 14. Senior Superintendent in charge of St. Anne, Dwight Powell, and other senior officers visited with Corporal Letford's colleagues shortly after the news of the death became known and expressed condolences. Several years ago, Mr. Letford received the Badge of Honor for gallantry. A 37-year-old male pedal cyclist is dead following a motor vehicle collision involving a white 2006 Subaru Forester motor car in St. Catherine on Friday. The incident occurred about 4:37 a.m. along the Victoria Main Road in the vicinity of Breadfruit Gully. According to the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, the possible causes of the collision, which are being investigated, are failure to keep in the proper traffic lane, inattention or diverted attention, or excess speed with no regard to the condition. Information Minister Senator Dr. Dana Morris-Dickson says a sense of inertia among the Jamaican people is one of the biggest threats to the Holness administration achieving a third term in office. Senator Dr. Morris-Dickson was speaking on Nationwide at 5 at the West Kingston Youth Forum on Thursday.
What do you think is the real threat to the Labour Party not getting a third term?
I think it would be maybe inertia on the part of the voting public. It's been good for a long time. We've gotten good numbers. And the reality is that there are a lot of people who are still suffering in our country. And 9 years isn't enough to fix the problems. That's the reality. A lot of work has been done, but there's still a lot of work to do. And some people may look at the work to do and forget the work that had to be done to even get us to this point where we can even talk about some of the nicer to-dos.
Inertia is defined as a lack of interest or willingness to make an effort or engage in activities. The country's next general election is constitutionally due by September this year. Senator Dr. Morris-Dickson says the government will continue to inform Jamaicans of the country's achievements under the Holness administration leading up to the election.
You know, a third term is hard. Anywhere in the world, a third term is hard. In Jamaica, we have to be quite astute because we know where we are coming from. We know how difficult it's been to get to this point. And I think when we're looking at our choices, we have to look at who has been able to deliver. And I think with this party, you actually see that. And with this leader, he's been able to do it. So obviously with our third term, it's always going to be hard. So we're going to have to do for like this that we're having in terms of the youth forum, communicating it in different ways, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that we deeply believe that the continued way forward for Jamaica is with Andrew Holness as the leader.
Senator Dr. Dana Morris-Dickson, Information Minister. Meanwhile, speaking in her capacity as Youth Minister, Senator Dr. Morris-Dickson says it's now critical for young Jamaicans to become involved in the voting process.
It's an important component and we have to talk to them and they have to understand what we have done. And the thing is that a lot of the young people, they don't remember the poverty, they don't remember the mismanagement of the economy, they don't have that knowledge. They know, I mean, from when they became at an age where they could understand what's going on, they would have seen lowering debt, they would have seen lowering unemployment, they would have seen all these lovely things and they will take it for granted. And so I think it's really fantastic for us to be able to communicate to these young people, to remind them that this is actually a golden period for Jamaica that we've not seen, and then also for them to also articulate where they want the country to go.
Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, Education and Youth Minister. She was speaking at the West Kingston Youth Forum on Thursday at Tivoli Gardens High School. Councillor in the St. Anne Municipal Corporation, Jennifer Gordon Bailey, has chastised her political colleagues and insisted that they stop treating administrative staff with blatant disrespect. Mrs. Gordon Bailey, who's the JLP councillor for the Limehole Division, named Mayor Michael Bell-Navis and Minority Leader Ian Bell among those who sometimes treat the staff with disrespect. She was speaking at the monthly meeting of the corporation.
I am asking my colleagues, when we speak, we must speak with respect for the staff. I say this to the leaders, at times we will make utterances, but the blatant disrespect, we have to try to control ourselves. I believe my senior colleague councillor, the minority leader, and other councillors in here would have done it. And I said that because our utterance against each other, because we serve two different political parties, are against the staff. We color code and we put everybody in a different box. Because somehow because of how the person smiling we will think them green, and because of them smile we think them orange. And because of that, we have led us to be very disrespectful to the staff and going forward.
Mayor Bell-Navis pushed back against the reference to him and told Councillor Bailey that she should not make the comments personal. However, Councillor Bailey doubled down on her call, saying respect was due to the staff regardless of their party colour.
I am asking my colleagues, and I'm asking the mayor also, that we lead from front, and if we have an issue while we agitate, we do not disrespect the staff while they are in meetings. We cannot continue to tell them they are incompetent and they are not our children. Staff. All councillors. We try our best to deal with the people that are put around us to help us serve the people out there, to deal with them in a respectful way.
Councillor Jennifer Gordon Bailey, JLP councillor for the Limehole Division in St. Anne. On the international scene, at least 15 people have been killed and 10 injured in a crush at New Delhi railway station, according to Indian media. Eyewitnesses told BBC Hindi a huge crowd had gathered at the station from where many people were travelling to and from the Hindu religious festival, the Kumbh Mela. Indian Prime Minister Modi said his thoughts were with those who have lost their loved ones in a post on X. Authorities said the situation is now under control. Dr. Ritu Saxena, Deputy Medical Superintendent of Lok Nayak Hospital in New Delhi, told news agency AFP she could confirm 15 deaths at her hospital. Reuters news agency reported that 3 of the dead were children, while 10 were women. And now to sport, midfielder Mikel Merino scored 2 late goals to keep Arsenal's Premier League title hopes alive with a 2-0 victory at Leicester City after the Spaniard was thrust into a makeshift centre-forward role by his club's injury crisis. Arsenal moved to 53 points from their 25 matches, 4 behind leaders Liverpool, having played a game more, while Leicester remain in the relegation zone with 17 points from their 25 fixtures this season. In the other results, Aston Villa and Ipswich drew 1-1, Fulham beat Nottingham Forest 2-1, Manchester City blanked Newcastle 4-0, Bournemouth beat Southampton 3-1, Brentford clipped West Ham 1-0 and Everton beat Crystal Palace 2-1. Jannik Sinner's doping case was divided. Well, it has divided the tennis world for months, with the announcement he will serve a 3-month ban leading to further questions. Some players have said they don't believe in a clean sport anymore, while others say Sinner is taking responsibility for the mistakes of others. The World Anti-Doping Agency initially sought a ban of up to 2 years, but reached a settlement after accepting the Italian inadvertently ingested a banned substance and did not intend to cheat. The world number 1 has not been on court since his Australian Open triumph last month and will now be banned until the 4th of May, returning in time to begin preparations for this year's second Grand Slam at the French Open. And now for a recap of the top stories making the news at this hour. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is rejecting claims of Jamaica's economy being weak as a general election looms. Police in St. Anne are mourning the passing of a colleague who died last night after sustaining injuries in a motor vehicle crash 2 weeks ago. Councillor in the St. Anne Municipal Corporation chastises her political colleagues for what she believes is a blatant disrespect to administrative staff. I'm Andrew Cannon. You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News is next at 5 tomorrow afternoon. But stay tuned because coming up next we have Sports Nation Live with Wade Walker and Eric Swaby.
Outperform, outlast, guilty. We top performance, guilty. Jackama, reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Pan select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
You can have it all. Company events, birthday parties, or the wedding of your dreams. It's all possible at Grand Palladium Hotels and Resorts. We have magnificent event rooms and a dedicated team that will make your event the best experience that only Grand Palladium Hotels and Resorts can offer. Contact us at 876-619-0000 or call your favorite travel agency and ask about our promotion designed especially for you.
Attention, contractors and developers. Are you looking for reliable equipment and tools to get the job done? Look no further than L&R Equipment Tools and Haulage, your one-stop shop for all your project needs. They have cranes ranging from 60 to 30 ton, bucket trucks, man lift, scissor lift, and telescopic forklift. Call them at 876-546-8333 or visit 6C Penrith Road for more information. L&R Equipment Tools and Haulage. Rent it, lease it, buy it. The Global Tourism Resilience Conference. Tune in to Cliff Views Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from the Princess Grand Resort in Hanover on February 17. The third edition of the Global Tourism Resilience Conference brings together tourism leaders, innovators, and experts from around the world to engage in insights and ideas. Expect panel discussions, networking sessions, and presentations on how to future-proof the travel and tourism sectors. Tune in to Cliff Views Online on Monday, February 17 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Global Tourism Resilience Conference at the Princess Grand Resort in Hanover. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica Tourist Board.
Okay, good afternoon. It's Saturday, February 15, 2025. Now, if you bowl it, we'll hit it for 6. If you pass it, we'll score it. Give us a pool, we'll dive in. And as fast as the starter's gun fires, we're at that finish line. I'm Alex Raber. This is Sports Nation Live on Nationwide 90 FM, nationwideradiojm.com, and Flow Channel 916. You can also tune in to our program live on our YouTube channel, Nationwide 90 FM. And remember to like, subscribe, and share our content. Now coming up, we have another packed and exciting show lineup for you. We'll be talking track and field, NFL, swimming, and much more. But first, an athletics lesson from 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24.
1 Corinthians 9, verse 24. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Did you notice when reading this verse that it doesn't say you must win or you will win? It is actually telling us that the kind of effort and dedication victory requires. Competing with integrity is the key here. Anyone can cheat and win, but what does that do us morally? It's not about winning at all costs or abandoning your values to do anything it takes to win. This is telling us we need to perform at our absolute best and have the self-discipline to compete in a focused, well-practiced, and strategic manner. If we do that, we will perform in such a way that will be nearly impossible to beat. Will we get beat sometimes? Absolutely. However, In performing with honor, we can feel victorious even in a loss.
Okay, so that was our athletics lesson from 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24. Now, in our feature, you just had to be there. We relived St. Jago winning the Class 1 boys 4x200 meters relay at the Gibson McCook Relays in 2020.
We big golden for the Class 1 boys 4x200 meters relay. A good start already for the team in lane 6. You guessed it, that's Kingston College. Receives on the outside flying as well. Excellent there. St. Jago also goes well in the middle of the track. St. Jago closing down Kingston College as well. So based on the stagger, Receives and St. Jago, the top two teams at the moment. Calabar on the inside of lane 3 trying to get into the picture as well. So Receives on the outside, being chased by St. Jago. They turn into the home stretch now. Calabar comes into the mix, so to Excelsior once more. Receives being caught by St. Jago. St. Jago will get advantage now. Then Receives get Excelsior, St. Catherine, there in Greater Portmore. So St. Jago from Excelsior and Receives and Greater Portmore. Then KC and Calabar. Onto the back stretch now. St. Jago continues to hold the advantage. Excelsior staying close by, but it is St. Jago who has this one under control, it would seem. The final 150 to come now. It is St. Jago, Excelsior burning up the track as they turn into the home stretch now. Excelsior, Spanish down versus Montague Avenue. St. Jago, this is going here. Mimicry. St. Jago wins and wins big. Ahead of Excelsior, KC finishes strong in the third. Ahead of Calabar, 126.18. 126.18 the time for St. Jago. 126.54 for Excelsior. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, had he not showboated, that record from 1992 would have been no longer. But St. Jago gets the win nonetheless, so let's still be happy with that. Excelsior in second, KC finishing strong in 127.86 for third.
Medal presentation followed by 800 meters relay, High School Boys Open. This is a championship event.
Okay, so that was our feature. You just had to be there, where we relived St. Jago winning the Class 1 boys 4x200 meters relay at the Gibson McCook Relays in 2020. With that, we'll take a break and we'll come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Dancehall week, nah, and can't miss me. February 23 to March 2, one full week of dancehall activities.
New style.
Cliff Hughes Online, I got there at the Ronnie Williams Entertainment Center on February 26 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the official Dancehall Village to help celebrate dancehall. Follow back on me and come celebrate the dancehall culture at the Cannabis Village. Seminar and workshop I got there, food and shopping village, and the official opening of the Dancehall Museum.
This you wanna hold.
Catch me side at Cliff Hughes Online. Me a dance and I go on with a bag of things. Them I go have dance workshop and boot camps, and guess what? It's free all week. Go down and don't forget the dancehall fashion frenzy on Friday and the dancehall street parade, plus the big bad corrosive after party on Sunday. Me, Affidede. It can't miss me, and if you miss it, that rough. But don't worry, Cliff Hughes Online I got there for make you know the pre. You see, February 26, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM. Oh, we are the revolution in media.
Dancehall, I mean everything.
It's the Global Tourism Resilience Conference. Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from the Princess Grand Resort in Hanover on February 17. The third edition of the Global Tourism Resilience Conference brings together tourism leaders, innovators, and experts from around the world to engage in insights and ideas. Expect panel discussions, networking sessions, and presentations on how to future-proof the travel and tourism sectors. Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online on Monday, February 17 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Global Tourism Resilience Conference at the Princess Grand Resort in Hanover. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica Tourist Board.
Okay, good afternoon. Welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I am Alex Ribby, working with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass. We go up now to Jamaica College's Asinine Stadium, where Wayne Walker is at the fervent distant meet. We join him now. As Wayne, what's been happening?
Very much. Well, the correct thing is the fervent distance classics. It's a championship as opposed to a development meet. And so we're here. At the moment, we're watching the 5,000 meters open. And what a joy it is to watch an event like this. There are two Africans who are expected to really shine brightly here. Ryan Achaw, who's leading is from Jago out of Kenya, and there's also Evans Esse from Jamaica College. But at the moment, it is Achaw who's showing setting the standard. He's about 45 meters ahead of the rest of the pack. But it's early stage, yeah? It's a 5,000 meters open, but so impressive as this boy been all season. What he's seeing him doing right now, it probably could do this for the entire distance. So let's see what he'll do. Just a couple of minutes ago, we saw Jennifer Bass out of Camperdown. She's from Guyana. She set a new meet record of the 3,000 meters girls, and the time was 11 minutes 22.66 seconds. Was Rihanna Lemar from St. Mary. Rihanna actually took part in the 800 meters early, and she finished second in that event, and she finished second behind Bypass in 12 minutes 55.07 seconds. We're going to go into some more of the results in a little while, but I want to get a quick chat from Dwayne Johnson, who is the head coach. He'll be going into Boys and Girls Championships, the head coach for the first time, but not the first time, as a part of the JC coaching staff, of course, and he's the man overseeing this championship here at JC. Dwayne, good afternoon and welcome to Sports Nation Live on Nationwide 90 FM. What's the rationale behind having this? We see touring event last week. I was at Excelsior with all throws. This is all distance. It's a new trend around the country to make sure that all facets of athletics is taken care of, and we have good representation, I suppose.
Yeah, that is it. The truth is that we have been showing our first in the sprint event over the years. I think the middle and long distance event is way behind the world standard right now. I think part of the reason is that we don't give them enough meet to shine. And so the idea of this meet really is just having a meet that's specifically geared towards those type of athletes so they can be in their comfort zone. Time of the day right now, it's the time that these events actually does well because it's cooler temperatures. So that's the idea, is really to expose them to this type of atmosphere where the focus is only on them, so that they can, shine a little bit outside of the sprint and all those events. So the hope is that this event will grow over the years to come. So there's a lot more exposure on these type of events, and so we can get athletes more motivated to do these events. Because the truth is that we're not really motivated to do these events here in Jamaica. So we're just trying to get these athletes to be a little bit more motivated to push and continue training hard for these type of events.
And has it grown? It's in the third stage. Has it grown?
Yeah, it has. Just by a little bit. It needs to grow a little bit more. The challenge this year, though, a lot of the Western and Central schools will have stayed away from it because Western Champs is actually in the middle of their championship now. Actually, today is the last day. And then Central Champs starts on Monday. So we find a lot of those schools who are normally dominant in these events aren't here this year. But the numbers actually grew about 10% this year. So we are hoping that in years to come we continue to grow, from the future.
You made a good point, because last week I was talking to Michael Bratton down at Excelsior at the throwing championship. He did mention it, he said one of the things that you do when you put meets like this is to give these athletes who do these events an opportunity to shine outside. Because sprint, many people believe track and field is just a sprint.
Exactly, and they get all the attention majority of the time, even officiating those events, those are the events that we try and get everything perfect for. So having meets like this, separating these type of events will allow these athletes to be in their own shell, coming out of their shell, getting attention separate from everything else. and you know everything is geared towards them. So yeah, so it will help their development and get them motivated to push harder.
Well, we have under 8 laps to go, and I'm looking for the leading pack. Not quite. Oh yes, I'm looking at the choice. He's running out of sight actually. So, let's see. Dwayne, I can't leave without asking you. You take both JC in the champs next month. The first time you're going to be a head coach. You've been around it. How are things going? I mean, now as a head coach, is there anything different from what you normally do?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things different. Where really and truly, I'm just trying to get 2 boys in every final. I think in the last few years, what happened is that we would have had qualities where we have, for example, last chance we had the most gold medals, but we still didn't win champs because you find that, you know, a lot of the events we were missing in action. So my plan coming in this year is to ensure that at the end of the day, when we're in scoring points, we should be scoring at least 2 in every final, because that's how you win champs. It's not about winning gold medals; it's about scoring points.
Point accumulation,
right? Exactly right. So that was my goal coming in, and so far, you know, I think we're being successful at that. There's only 2 events that's a concern going in where I'm short 1 person, but we're working on it, trying to get that second person up in those 2 events, and that's the end goal. And if we are able to do that, I think we have a good enough team to challenge this year for the actual win, and we're working hard at it.
Challenge?
Yeah.
I hear your chairman told me when I came here at the JC, at the Ardani Williams. He said, listen, he's going to spoil a 100 celebration somewhere. You're not locked into that?
Well, the truth is that, you know, yeah, it's. I'm confident that we can, but at the same time, we have to give respect where it's due. And the truth is that they are the champions, so we have to show up to dethrone them, and we're working hard to show up and dethrone them. So yes, we do have a team that I know confidently I can win, but again, I'm still working. So when the time comes, let's see it roll.
Thank you, Dwayne. All the best to you, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, that's Dwayne Johnson, head coach of Jamaica College. We're still here at the Turbot Distance Carnival. The 5,000 meters is still on track at the minute, and the youngster out of Kenya, Achaw, from St. Jago, by way of St. Jago, is still leading. In fact, he's untouchable in high school distance running between 5,000 and 1,500 meters so far this season, and he has been an outstanding athlete, and he's been running on 1 pace since the start of the race, and he's still leading at the moment. That's about 6 or so laps to go in this event. Let me give you 1 or 2 other results that we've got for you. Hannah Charles out of Queen School, she's from Antigua, and she did 2 minutes 20.34 for the Class 1 girls 800 meters. The Class 1 boys 800 meters went to Shemar Green of Jamaica College in a minute 58.97, and Sean Paul Simmons of Kingston College, he was second in a minute 58.98, so that was desperately close. Let me just look at my sheet here to see what we've got. Yeah, we're going to go right up the way to the 4x800 meters Class 1 boys. Well, not Class 1, it's 4x800 meters open for boys will be the final event on this championship, and we'll see how that goes. But we've got about 6 laps to go for the 5,000 meters open for boys, and Achaw from St. Jago continues to lead. In fact, I think he's lapped the field already, and I tell you what, he's going to be one of these stars of boys and girls chance. People are really going to come to see him, just like they did Harry Rogers when he joined Kingston College sensationally out of Uganda. So let's see how that goes. But Achaw has been really, really brilliant. Really, really brilliant. I've seen him about 3 times so far this season, and he's coming around to lap another runner here. And the stadium at Champs next month is going to come alive when this boy, runs into the house to contest the events that he's contesting here. So 13:00, I think it's the meet record. And I think he's on record-breaking pace, but he's always on record-breaking pace when he runs. And we're looking to see what happens. Calabar is in third. I think Ryan from Calabar is in third. And Teke from Ghana, Jamaica College, is in second at the moment, but well out in front. Well out in front. And running on his own. I mean, it's a contest at all for him is Ryan Achaw from Jamaica from St. Jago High School. I might stick around a bit for another report from here at JC for the Perfect Distance Carnival, because I understand that the meet over at the National Stadium, that's the Esther Isaac Henry meet, is 3 hours behind schedule. and so that should go up until late this evening. So I might just hang around a bit to give another one from here. Let's play it by ear, Ali, and see how it goes.
Okay, well, no problem. We'll check back in with you later. But with that, we take a break and we come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Is your business tax compliant? At Dodge & Global, we take the stress out of tax planning, ensuring you maximize deductions and minimize liabilities. From corporate tax to VAT compliance, we've got you covered. Call 876-929-3670 or 876-926-5210. Email us at info@dodgen.global. Visit us at dodgen.global. Dodge & Global, your tax experts.
Dancehall week, can't miss me. February 23 to March 2, 1 full week of dancehall activities.
New style.
Cliff Hughes Online, I got there at the Ronnie Williams Entertainment Center on February 26 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the official Dancehall Village to help celebrate dancehall. Follow back on me and come celebrate the dancehall culture at the Cannabis Village. Seminar and workshop I got there, food and shopping village, and the official opening of the Dancehall Museum.
This you wanna hold.
Catch me side at Cliff Hughes Online. Me a dance and I go with a bag of things. Them I go have dance workshop and boot camps, and guess what? It's free all week. Go down now. And don't forget the dancehall fashion frenzy on Friday and the dancehall street parade, plus the big bad corrosive after party on Sunday. Me, Affidede. It can't miss me. And if you miss it, that rough. But don't worry, Cliff Hughes Online I got there if you make you know the pre. You see? February 26, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM. Oh, we are the revolution in media.
Dancehall me everything.
It's the Global Tourism Resilience Conference. Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from the Princess Grand Resort in Hanover on February 17. The third edition of the Global Tourism Resilience Conference brings together tourism leaders, innovators, and experts from around the world to engage in insights and ideas. Expect panel discussions, networking sessions, and presentations on how to future-proof the travel and tourism sectors. Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online on Monday, February 17 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Global Tourism Resilience Conference at the Princess Grand Resort in Hanover. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica Tourist Board.
Okay, good afternoon. Welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I am Alex Raby, working with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass, my technical operator. We'll be talking some road race now as the European Union delegation to the Jamaica officially launched the third staging of the EU JA 5K and 10K race in partnership with the Ministry of National Security yesterday. On March 9 in downtown Kingston, the race will kickstart a series of events that will commemorate the EU's partnership with Jamaica for the last 50 years. The annual race is a part of their collective effort to raise awareness of social vulnerabilities that are triggers for crime and violence in Jamaica. This year's race carries the powerful theme All Together Against Crime and Violence, rallying Jamaicans to stand in the fight against violence, particularly gender-based violence, while also spotlighting the urgent need for improved literacy in underserved communities across Jamaica. State Minister in the Ministry of National Security, Juliet Cuthbert-Flynn, says she is grateful for the EU support in Jamaica's effort to reduce crime through improved literacy.
An event that symbolizes not just the strength of good collaboration, but also the power of sport to bring communities together in the fight against crime and violence. This year's run will bring together thousands. We want 4,000, but if we get 5,000, that would even be better. Jamaicans, whether running or walking, with the aim of raising awareness about community engagement in combating crime and violence on all levels, while funds to improve literacy in schools is in underserved communities in Kingston. And again, Kingston, yes, is the capital. We want to kind of expand that, so hopefully we'll be able to do that.
Juliet Cuthbert-Flynn, State Minister in the Ministry of National Security. Now we have online the Director of Running Events, Diane Ellis. Diane, good afternoon and welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, Alric, and welcome, and hello to all your listeners as well.
Okay, it's a pleasure having you here. Let's jump right in. 5K and the 10K, two races in one. Tell us a bit about these two races.
Okay, it's a 5K and 10K. So when you register, you can register to either do the 5K event, which is a run or a walk, and the 10K is a run only.
Okay. And tell me this. Let me first ask about this theme. I don't know how much you would be knowledgeable of why this theme was chosen. All Together Against Crime and Violence, rallying Jamaicans to stand in the fight against violence, particularly gender-based. What went into deciding this theme for this race?
Okay, this is actually our third staging of this event. And the theme, All Together Against Crime and Violence, has been there from the very beginning.
Okay.
The mandate from the delegation of the European Union to run an event was to do something, present a road race that would bring communities and persons together to raise awareness between the connection between the lack of literacy and violence. And we're hoping that through road racing and the event itself, persons will become very aware of this link and try to do their best to support it. The first year that the race was staged, an underserved school was the beneficiary, because what has happened is that the funds from the race goes to a very exciting program which is presented by the Creative Based Learning Foundation, and it's a literacy program that sort of fast tracks or enhances the ability to read and write and so forth. And this program is done in conjunction with the Ministry of Education. So the first year, as I said, one school was the beneficiary. In the second year, we managed to raise enough funds that two schools could benefit from this program. And this year, 5 schools will now be the beneficiaries. And they are Coburn Gardens, Tavares Gardens, Greenwich Primary, Calabar Primary, and Whitfield Primary. So these schools will benefit from the intervention of Creative Language-Based Learning Foundation.
What was the process like in selecting the schools or institutions that would have benefited from this run?
That was done through the Ministry of Education, and they have a process. I can't speak to that in terms of the exact process and so forth, how it is done, but I know a great part of it was through the Department of Safety and Security in Schools, because it was seen that, it appeared that these schools may be vulnerable. So therefore, these schools were chosen.
Right, and tell me, in terms of dollar figure, what's the amount that you are hoping to raise from this event?
I can't speak to the hope for this year, but I know last year we were able to present over $4 million, which went to the program for the 3 schools to benefit.
Right.
So that was very exciting to know that the proceeds from the race was able to go that far.
Right, and tell me, you might not be able to say the dollar amount, but how much persons are you hoping to register for the race?
We're actually targeting 4,000, participants this year. Each year the race has been growing, and the race has found favor with, the running community. It's a fabulous course. It goes through the artwork and it highlights the best of downtown Kingston and the waterfront. And, persons just seem to enjoy this race. And I think the scene, people are very excited about the cause and being able to participate in something that is going to have such a great effect on the long-term well-being of our country.
You mentioned the course earlier. Can you just share with us the entire course?
Sure. The race starts at the corner of Port Royal Street and George's Lane. Both the 5K and 10K will go together on the same course. They go left onto Duke Street, continuing onto Ocean Boulevard, onto Petron Street, right onto Harbour Street, left onto King Street, right onto Water Lane, right onto East Street, left onto Harbour Street, and then proceed onto Michael Manley Boulevard, at which point the 5K runners will make a U-turn at Paradise Street and return to the finish at Port Royal, whereas the 10K runners will continue along Michael Manley Boulevard, and they will make their U-turn about approximately 250 meters after that on Hislop Avenue, and then they return along Michael Manley Boulevard, and then both races finish at the corner of Port Royal Street and Hanover Street.
Right. Tell me.
The staging area is at the parking lot of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade.
Right. And what's the cost for registration?
It is $2,500 for individuals. And we will have registration open. It's opened already, sorry. There's no race day registration, so we encourage, people to register as soon as possible. And then we will have package pickup between March 6th and March 8th. And this will take place at the EU delegation office on Fairway Avenue.
Right, and like I said, this is the third staging of the event. For the past 2 years, what has been the feedback from patrons and organizers and just everyone involved as to their thoughts on this race?
As I said before, it has become a much well-loved race. I mean, the course is fantastic. Just the route alone, it's very scenic, it's flat, it's fast. And the runners have a good time. Post-race, we have a little entertainment, and everybody has had such a wonderful time that I think that is why the race is growing, so fast.
Right.
So I really encourage everybody to come out, because not only for the race itself, which is very enjoyable, the fact that it's for such a worthy cause, that makes it extremely special.
Right. And tell me, in terms of how the monies were spent, in terms of the 5 schools that would benefit, what are they hoping to, how will they spend it? Is that they'll be developing a reading center, a computer center?
No.
How will it be used?
How it works is that during the summer, there are summer camps that are staged by the ministry and in conjunction with the ministry. And the summer camps are conducted by the various schools where the teachers are trained within the methodology of the creative language-based learning. So students will come to, whatever center where the summer camp is being held. And through the use of this technology, their literacy skills will be updated.
Okay.
So it's a sort of an intervention which takes place each summer. So the funds from the race really covers the expense of the summer camp.
Right. Tell me, Miss Ricketts, Olympian Shanika Ricketts is the patron. What was the feedback from her when she was asked, and I'm sure gladly accepted? What was her response in terms of being asked to be the patron of this meet?
Oh, she was quite excited. We chose her. Her accomplishments is extremely outstanding. As you know, an Olympian silver medalist, 2-time World Championship silver medalist, Commonwealth Games gold medalist and record holder, 6-time Jamaica national champion. Such an inspiration for our youngsters. And the whole theme of the event is in keeping with her vision in terms of what is best for Jamaica. So she was happy to accept our, invitation. And she's quite excited about, being a part of this event. And hopefully in the summer, if her time permits and her schedule permits, to actually pop in at maybe, 1 or 2 of the summer camps and actually see the work and be a physical inspiration to the kids.
Right. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just about to say that having, such an accomplished person, it's an amazing role model for the children to see that you can accomplish anything.
Right.
She was happy to play that role.
Most definitely. And tell me, a lot of the running events, they have special treats for the participants. Some at the end they have a party like celebration at the end. Anything special for the runners while they run or at the end of the race?
At the end of the race, we always have an exciting package. I'm not at liberty to reveal exactly what we'll have this year, not just yet anyway. So, I wouldn't say it's going to be a surprise, but all the participants know that there's never a dull moment. It's always a lot of fun. We have a fabulous MC in the form of Ron Machette. He makes it exciting. Our sponsors who are just fantastic, they usually have some, giveaways and so on. So we make it very special for our participants.
Right, and for the past 2 years, what would you say is the biggest draw for participants to this event?
That's a tough question. I can't say if it is the cause, because so many people are excited about the cause and wanting to do something, to, sort of further the cause and what the project is trying to achieve, because I think we all want to see a Jamaica that is free of crime and violence. And this year in particular, the race takes place immediately after International Women's Day. So the focus on gender-based violence, especially among women and girls. And it's not really specifically targeted, for gender-based violence against women, but men and boys as well. I think that has, struck a chord already with the general public. And so far we're seeing the registrations, a good uptick already.
In terms of the registration, where you see most of this in terms, are there a lot of females, males, young people, more older persons coming out to event for this event? Where are you seeing in terms of those that are gravitating towards the event?
The event attracts a kind of a diverse demographic. You have youngsters. We try to encourage, thanks to the support of the EU, a lot of community groups are able to register free, and school children, so it's a great exposure for them. And as I said, the demographic cuts across all ages, from youngsters, and then you have the sports enthusiasts who are 60 plus, who want to get their exercise in and they like the course and they want to be a part of it. So I can't really tell you there is a specific demographic. I mean, when you come out to the race, you see persons of all ages, both genders. I mean, it's just a fantastic mix of people. You have people from the surrounding community. You have the kids from the various schools. It's just amazing to see everybody together. You have the diplomatic community coming out. You have ministers of government. You have artists. I can't describe. It's just a wonderful mix of people. I think that's part of the draw as well, which is something that the EU wanted to achieve, which is to create a safe space where, Jamaicans can come together in the cause against crime and violence and just have a wonderful, time, and of course, with the theme of health and wellness underscoring, the entire event.
Right, and I'm sure with social media being so prevalent and young people being so active on social media, like you said earlier, this is an event that has become a fan favorite, and young people want to be a part of this so they can document it on their social media platforms. But apart from that, tell me, is there anything in terms of social media that running events or the organizers of this meet will be using to document the event?
Yes, well, I mean, running events is always on Instagram. We, sort of post across all social media platforms so persons can follow us. And they will see, the various photos from previous races. We just posted this year's promotional video with the EU and Shanika Ricketts, which is, quite fun to watch. So I encourage everybody to, go to the running events, handle and see whatever posts are there. And of course, you'll be kept up to date with race information in terms of package pickup and all the rest of it. Parking, the race map, everything will be, posted on our social media platforms.
And I'm sure you would have partnered, apart from the EU, you would have partnered with several corporate entities for the hosting of this meet.
Yes, thank you. I was just about to give a plug to some of our sponsors. We'll have Catherine Speak on board, the Jamaica Observer, iPrint, and we have a number of others who are, coming on board. Kingston Creative is another partner. They have done so much in terms of the space that's being used along the race route with the artwork and everything. So, I mean, they're a fantastic partner with us.
Right. And is there anything that else you want to share with the listeners that I may not have asked?
I think we've pretty much covered everything, but I just implore everybody to register early. The early registrants, I think, they say the early bird catches the worm. We have a fantastic race shirt, which is available once you register. And at the end of the race, you get a lovely medal. So the earlier you register, the better it is for everyone.
Remind us of the cost.
2,500. And if you go to runningeventsja.com/registration, you can register online. And of course, the cost of 2,500 includes the race day T-shirt and your bib and the medal at the end.
So it's 2,500 per person. What if you come in a group?
No, sorry. For this event, we try to raise as much funds as possible because it's for such a worthy cause. So the cost is 2,500 across the board.
Right. Okay, again, let me give you another opportunity to invite Jamaica to come out and support this event. Remind us of the date and time.
Sure. It's Sunday, March 9th. The race starts at 6:30, and we encourage everyone to register early. www.runningeventsja.com/registration, and we look forward to seeing everybody on race day.
Okay, Diana, thanks much for stopping by and sharing some of the information on the EUJA 5K and 10K race set for March 9 later this year. I wish you and your team all the best.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, Alric. We hope we'll see you there, laced up and all ready to go at the start line.
My shoes is already laced.
Well, we're ready and waiting for you.
Okay then. Diana Ellis.
All right, thank you.
Welcome. Diana Ellis, the Director of Running Events. We'll take a break and come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Dancehall week, can't miss me. February 23 to March 2, 1 full week of dancehall activities.
New style of style.
Cliff Hughes Online are there at the Ronnie Williams Entertainment Center on February 26 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the official Dancehall Village to help celebrate dancehall. Follow back on me and come celebrate the dancehall culture at the Cannabis Village. Seminar and workshop are go there, food and shopping village, and the official opening of the Dancehall Museum.
This you wanna hold.
Catch me side at Cliff Hughes Online. Me a dance and I go with a bag of things. Them a go have dance workshop and boot camps, and guess what? It's free all week. Go down now. And don't forget the dancehall fashion frenzy on Friday and the dancehall street parade, plus the big bad corrosing after party on Sunday. Me, Affidede. It can't miss me, and if you miss it, that rough. But don't worry, Cliff Hughes Online go there if you make you know the pre. You see? February 26, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM. Oh, we are the revolution in media.
Dancehall love me everything.
Okay, good evening. Welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alex Swaby, working with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass, my technical operator. We go back up to Jamaica College, Asinine Stadium, where we join Wayne Walker at the Fervet Distance Classic. Wayne, good evening.
Good evening again to you, Alex. I'm still here at Jamaica College, as you mentioned, the Fervet Distance Carnival, they call it. And we're just going to give you some results since we were last with you. That 5,000 meters open for boys that we were talking so much about. Ryan Achoa out of St. Jago by way of Kenya. He won. Obviously, 15 minutes, 45.07 seconds. It's a lifetime best for him, a personal best. 15 minutes, 45.07 seconds. And the second was Dane Davidson of Calabar High School, 16 minutes, 08.59. That's also a lifetime best for him. So both the top two finishers doing lifetime best performances, and the outstanding Evan Tete from Jamaica College, who's from Ghana, he did 16 minutes, 31.06 seconds. The 1,500 meters class, 3 girls, was the other event that went on since we were last with you. Janelle Davis of St. Mary's College, she won in 5 minutes, 33.14 seconds. This was her second victory here at the championship because she won the 800 meters earlier today. So a good day for Janelle Davis of St. Mary High School. At the moment, the class 2 girls 1,500 meters is on track, and Latanya Dixon of St. Mary's College, she's leading at the moment. So St. Mary's College having a good day after Janelle Davis winning 2 events, the 1,500 meters class 3 girls and the 800 meters class 3 girls. Now they have another one in the lead here in the 1,500 meters class 2 girls in Latanya Dixon. So they're looking well for Eastern champs at St. Mary High, and they have about a lap or so to go, so I'm going to just stick around to complete this one for you. But Dixon is coming under a bit of pressure. She looks as if she's tiring close to the finish line, and she comes across the line now and wins it. Yeah. So I'll give you the time in a short while. So second was from Immaculate Conception High School, Hayla Brown. And let me see who is going to be third here. The third person coming in at the moment. And from the Queen School, Shauna Bonnick. Let me just make sure I confirm that. So, John L. Right, so that's so let me do it again. So from St. Mary High School, the winner, Latanya Dixon, and right behind her was Haley Brown from Immaculate Conception High School. Still to work out who came across the line third. Okay. So here I have it. Renee Chung from Woolmer. So let me give you the top three again. It is Latanya Dixon from St. Mary High School, Haley Brown from Immaculate, and from Woolmer's in third, Renee Chung. And that's the class 2 girls, 1,500 meters. The class 2 went to Janelle Davis. And let me give you the time. No, the times are not yet up. So that's basically it. So we're up to the time with the results for you. And let me tell you what event is going to be up next. So that's the class 2 girls, 1,500 meters. And we're now going to have the class 2 boys, in fact, class 3 boys, 1,500 meters. And that will come after the class 1 girls, 1,500 meters. So one more 1,500 meters to go in the girls section. And that's for class 1. And they'll be followed by 1,500 meters for boys. And then we'll close off with the 4x800 meters. At the moment, it's 4 minutes past 6. So they're expecting to come to a close this evening at about 7 o'clock. And so I'm going to be heading down to the National Stadium in a short while for the Isaac Henry Invitational over there at the National Stadium. So that's it for the final time from me here at Jamaica College from the Fervent Distance Classic.
Okay, Wayne. Safe travel up to the National Stadium. With that, we'll take a quick break and we'll come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Global Tourism Resilience Conference. Tune in to Cliff Views Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from the Princess Grand Resort in Hanover on February 17. The third edition of the Global Tourism Resilience Conference brings together tourism leaders, innovators, and experts from around the world to engage in insights and ideas. Expect panel discussions, networking sessions, and presentations on how to future-proof the travel and tourism sectors. Tune in to Cliff Views Online on Monday, February 17 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Global Tourism Resilience Conference at the Princess Grand Resort in Hanover. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica Tourist Board.
But is this real? Hey Greg, come look at this. Oh my, it's happening. Mr. Daniels, the numbers keep getting bigger and bigger.
Sir, the clicks are off the charts.
Hello, sales? What's the emergency? 9,000 clicks in one day? 3,000 order? So how much we have left? What? I soon call you back. Mr. Nakamoto, it's Danny from Jamaica. I need 5,000 of the big ones. We're back in business.
Yes, sir. Arigato. Suene. Amplify your brand. Let Nationwide 90 FM assist you in tapping into a captivated audience across our social media platforms. For more information, contact us at 876-630-1210 or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Businesses, companies, and entrepreneurs, let's supercharge your brand. Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We're having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM. Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour fired.
Also, tune in to the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Beanie Man. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
Okay, good evening. Welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alex Raby, working with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass, my technical operator / production assistant. We'll continue talking some track and fielders. The Gibson McCook relays have been granted World Athletics Tier 2 status. This announcement was made at the launch of the 2025 staging scheduled for Saturday, February 2022 at the National Stadium. 31 relay events will be contested at the meet, 15 of which are championship races. Now joining us to talk some more on the Gibson McCook relays is the chairman of the organizing committee, who is also the treasurer, Ryan Peralta. Ryan, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Eric. Just a little adjustment there. I'm the chair of the entries and registration subcommittee. Treasurer.
No problem. Thanks much for that.
Okay.
Let's jump into it. Gibson relays is upon us. It's just a couple of days away. How has preparation been going? What can patrons expect? I mean, it's usually fun, exciting, and on point.
Yes. Well, as usual, you can expect an event that's going to be fast-paced. We always, of course, as you know, and this is patterned off of the way that the pen relays are run. We always run a tight ship in terms of timing. And there's quite a bit of excitement. We found that there are a pretty high number of entries for every one of the high school relays. And we also had quite a bit of entries for the 60 meters. So it's going to be an exciting evening.
So what you're saying is that, as usual, a number of the senior athletes would have used this meet to open their season, and this will be so again this year around.
It certainly will be, Eric. And what's happening too is that this year, of course, we have an Indoor World Championships coming up, and it's pretty early in the year, as it would be for indoors. And so with that, athletes are wanting to get in some times that will help them qualify for that event. So that's part of it. And then, of course, the kids, the high schoolers, they are preparing, sharpening up for champs.
Right. Earlier we read that the relay would have been granted a World Athletics Tier 2 status. Explain what that is and what it means for the event.
Okay. In World Athletics, they have different tiers for the different events that happen, the different meets that happen. So there's Tier 2, then there's Tier 1, and then from there you have the classification of Diamond League and all of that. And so this is a step in what we have been working on, which is to be able to get ourselves listed in the different tiers, to move up the tiers. And so with this, that means that the events, the athletes, when they compete, they actually will be earning points in the rankings by World Athletics.
And tell me, what goes into getting this Tier 2 ranking? That's
something where a lot of it has to do with the what we call functional areas. Each of your functional areas has to have the proper certified personnel operating in those areas. And I'm talking now things like the call room, the starting, the different areas of the meet that we have to operate in order to run a meet. And so you are rated on your performance in these different areas. And that's how they come up with being able to give you a ranking.
31 relay events, 15 of which are championship races. You would have been a part of the Gibson McCook relays for some time now. Tell me, which of these events you think would attract most patrons to the meet? I mean, we know Jamaica is considered a sprint country. Over the years, we would have seen a number of interest being shown to long distance and especially or field events now. But as it relates to the Gibson McCook relays, what are the events that normally draws the crowd?
The 4x1s, of course. That's the real exciting one because it's so fast-paced and the changes, everybody watches the changes very much. We really, as fans, we are very keen on changes and how the changes are made. And so that's the most exciting race that you tend to have in the relays. The 4x4 is also very exciting because that's about grit and determination, when everybody has to be running, sprinting the 400. One of the days when I was in high school running the 400 where you had to, you could course the back stretch and you kind of kick from the 200, come round. Those days are gone. So that 4x4 is also exciting because of just the grit and determination that these athletes have to demonstrate. But what we have seen and what I hope the fans have noticed, certainly the athletes have, is an increase in the number of entries for the 4x800.
Okay.
And the level of competitiveness in the 4x800, that has gone up tremendously. And then you have, things like in the individual events, we have the 60 meters. This will be the second time that we have had that event. That's going to provide some excitement, and that's for the senior athletes.
Right. When you mentioned the 4x800 meters, there have been a call and somewhat of a push for more of our athletes to venture into the middle and long distance races. You think that would have been part of the reason why you would have seen so much entrance for this 4x8?
It's been building for the last, I would say, since after COVID. It's been building. So I think it really has to do with the fact that, there's a lot of kids running the 100s, running the 200s, running the 400s. And so kids have said, well, okay, I go and try the 8. And I think it's that as well, because everybody wants to be able to be on a winning team, eh?
Right.
And so the interest has moved to the 800 while still having a high level of interest. I was hearing about meets during the course of the past couple of weeks and, 100 and something heats for the 100s, for example. But the 800s have now become an object of interest, a great interest by the young athletes coming up.
One of the bigger, well, not the bigger, one of the events that have been creating some news, some waves on the athletic scene is the mixed relays. Will that be featured at the Gibson relays?
That will be featured. We find with the mixed relays, it's a bit of a challenge, I have to say, because the schools are so intent on competing in the 4x4 and the 4x2, and you tend to get your mixed relay people out of your 200 group or your 400 group, maybe your 800 group as well. So, and so that's something we will be featuring there. So we'll see how that one turns out. It's the second year that we are doing the 4x400 mixed relay, and there are just so many co-ed schools where the programs are all together. The boys and girls are together as one in the program, let us say. And so we'll see how that works this year again, how that plays out. So it's a working process to see how that comes along.
And I'm sure you're having some challenges finding teams with the fact that a number of the top schools are either all male or all female teams.
Correct. So that's a challenge that you found, that because a lot of them are either, all boys or all girls. So you had that. And even where you had co-ed schools, the boys program might be stronger than the girls program or vice versa,
right.
And so that presented a bit of a challenge. That's why I would say this is the second year working with this. We're seeing how it all develops. So we'll see how it plays out with the schools.
The top boys and girls teams will collect cash prizes as well as the overall athlete. Tell us about those cash prizes that these athletes and teams can collect.
Sure, okay. So the best performing high school girls and boys, the girls will receive 100,000. The boys also, best performers, will receive 100,000 for the top performing school. And we judge that based on the number of first places that they earn, the number of gold medals. Because our meet in my day running, we only get a gold medal, but we have gold, silver, and bronze now. So we rank the performance of the schools by the number of gold medals that they earn in the Gibson McCook relays. So 100,000 for top boys school, 100,000 for top girls school. There's also a best overall performance trophy, the Neville Teddy McCook trophy, and that comes along with a Puma prize of 150,000. And last year, actually, 2 high jumpers had the best performance, and so they share that trophy and that prize. And then for each team that breaks a record, or individual that breaks a record in a championship event, as you mentioned, we have 15 of those. They also, if they break a record, will earn 75,000.
And I'm sure this news is well received by the schools.
Yes, oh yes, you know. Support for the schools is so crucial because it don't cost quite to run a track and field program at the school, and so it helps.
Right, and speaking about spending and finding funds, I'm sure putting on a meet is not cheap either. So tell me, a lot of the meets this year have been complaining about finding sponsors or maintaining their sponsors and the cost for various venues. What has it been like for the organizers of the Gibson McCook?
We're grateful because we have still seen a great interest in terms of the sponsors who wish to sponsor races. It was, we were concerned that having heard that teams at events were having trouble with sponsorship, that we were concerned as to whether we'd be able to have enough sponsors, particularly for our races, because sponsors do one or two things. They either sponsor a race, and that's something that any company can do, or they may be a major sponsor, in which case they'd make a cash contribution, and they would also provide other benefits. For example, our presenting sponsor, Puma, they do a cash sponsorship, but they also provide the shirts, the caps, the rain gear, the shoes for the organizing committee, shirts and caps and rain gear for the officials. So you have different levels of sponsorship. It's the main sponsorships, the major sponsorships. Most of those were good, but we had to do a bit of pushing to get that all tied up. In the races, that was a bit easier for us to attain. So thankfully, I have to be thankful that we were able to attain our sponsorship levels that we had targeted. And I think that's just due to the fact that, one, it's a relay carnival, which is unique in Jamaica and in the region as well. It's also an event that people know runs with discipline, and we also work with sponsors in affording them opportunities for being able to promote their products.
Since COVID, social media and streaming has played a big part in advertising and pushing various events like the Gibson McCook relays. How much will those play a part in the relays this year?
For us, honestly, it's still a work in process, social media. We have more work to do in that area. So we are still relying on the traditional means and methods, but through our partnership with TVJ, we also started and are continuing on our streaming, which has been promoted in the diaspora. So that's kind of one foray into, getting out there in terms of electronic media communications. But there's more work for us to do, quite honestly. One of the challenges with social media is the fact that physical seats, bodies in seats, has been a challenge for all events, all events, all around, all kind of sports. And so that has left event managers with having to rely heavily on things like TV sponsorship and that sort of thing. But we are still out there. We're still out there encouraging and pushing, but we have some work to do in terms of social media.
The Gibson McCook Relays is known to put on a very entertaining package during the opening ceremony. What can we expect this time around?
Okay. Yes. So we will again have a good entertaining package. The Gibson McCook Relays, as most people would know, was started in honor of Bishop Percival Gibson, the founder of Kingston College, who happened to be a St. George's old boy after met that plug at my Georgian. and so this year is the 100th anniversary of the founding of Kingston College, and it's also coincidentally the 175th anniversary of St. George's College. But because this event is in memory of Bishop Gibson, and of course Telly McCook, KC old boy, KC alumni, we will be having greetings brought by the chairman of Kingston College, Stephen Vassian, and we will also be having a performance by the Wilmer's Dance Troupe for the opening ceremony. So it's going to be an interesting and entertaining opening ceremony, and that starts at 3:30. So we're hoping that people will come out. I mean, we start at 9:30 with heats, and those are going to be exciting. But at 3:30 we'll have the opening ceremony.
Right. The Gibson McCook Relays is known to attract several overseas teams. Tell us what can we expect this time around?
Okay, overseas teams. There is one clearly identifiable team that we have as an overseas team. The Cayman Junior program is bringing their kids to participate. And so they'll be coming in and they will have 4x1, Class 1 and Class 2 boys and girls. And they will also be having a 4x2 Class 1 and Class 2 boys team and a girls team for the 4x200 Open. So they have about 17 athletes coming over along with their officials, including their national coach is actually going to be here. And these youngsters are coming because this meet will allow them to be able to qualify for the Carifta Games. Now, apart from that, there are many overseas athletes who are training in Jamaica. So for us, we see them as just members of the club. But as we do the listings and as we put in all their names, we also see them as individuals from different countries. And that's a real broad number of athletes. We haven't been able to talk about everybody because there are quite a number of them spread around different clubs. But they're from the USA, from St. Kitts Nevis, Antigua, Guyana, Bahamas, so there are a number of these senior athletes who are training with the clubs in Jamaica or attending places like GC Foster College or UWI, who are also overseas athletes, but they are participating on behalf of their club or institution.
Right. So let me give you this opportunity. If there is just one person who does not know the quality of the Gibson McCook Relays in terms of the performance on the track, let me give you the opportunity to speak with that one person, just to encourage that person to come out and have a good time at the Gibson McCook Relays on February 22.
Okay, thanks, Eric. Thank you. You got to come. I'll just put it as plain as that. And you're going to see there, I mean, I guess as Jamaicans, we kind of take people for granted. But you're going to see people there who are world performers at the meet. Both the senior athletes as well as high schoolers who are great, promising young people for senior athlete careers. So it's going to be exciting. 1, 2, the events themselves are going to be run. They are run as usual on a timetable. And that timetable, we have it listed, all the events, and you can look at that timetable and see how we match up against that. So that's about discipline and how the meet is run. The other thing is, too, it's a meet, and this is one of the things that World Athletics requires. It's a meet that when you come, everything is clean, the look is clean, but there's also the excitement at the same time of the different events. Just a thrilling thing to see a 4x1. I was telling somebody, when you come around the bend at the top of the 150-meter mark there, and you hear the crowd go, woo! I mean, you can't get that from the TV.
Right. Sure. Okay, remind us of the cost. Okay, so finish line tickets are $5,000. General grandstand tickets, $3,500. And bleachers, just $500. Okay, so... And they are on sale at the ticket office from Monday morning, 9 a.m. right through to Saturday. Right. Okay, so that's the Gibson McCook Relays set for the National Stadium on February 22. Okay, Ryan Peralta, thanks much for stopping by and sharing some of the plans that you and the organizers have for the patrons and athletes at the Gibson McCook Relays come February 22. Thank you very much, Alec. My pleasure to be with you all and with the listeners. It's your pleasure having you. Okay, that was Ryan Peralta, treasurer of the Gibson McCook Relays Organizing Committee. With that, we take a break and we come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Corian Solid Surface, so versatile and beautiful. It's non-porous, no sealing necessary, renewable and repairable, so easy to clean and maintain, and can be thermoformed into any shape. Choose Corian, the #1 solid surface in the world, when you want beauty and the best for your countertop. Visit Home International Limited, located at 104 Constant Spring Road. Telephone 755-1970 or 276-6448.
Strong financial records are the backbone of every successful business. Let Dodge & Global handle your accounting needs from bookkeeping to financial reporting so you can focus on growth. Call us at 876-929-3670 or 876-926-5210. Email us at info@dodgen.global or visit us at dodgen.global. Dodge & Global, we make numbers work for you.
Dance all week, can't miss me. February 23 to March 2, one full week of dancehall activities.
New style.
Cliff Hughes Online are there at the Ronnie Williams Entertainment Center on February 26 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the official Dancehall Village to help celebrate dancehall. Holla back on me and come celebrate the dancehall culture at the Cannabis Village. Seminar and workshop are there, food and shopping village, and the official opening of the Dancehall Museum.
This you wanna hold.
Catch me side at Cliff Hughes Online. Me a dance and I'm going with a bag of things. Them are gonna have dance workshop and boot camps, and guess what? It's free all week. Go down and don't forget the dancehall fashion frenzy on Friday and the dancehall street parade, plus the big bad corrosive after party on Sunday. Me, Affidede. It can't miss me, and if you miss it, that rough. But don't worry, Cliff Hughes Online are there for make you know the pre. You see, February 26, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM. Oh, we are the revolution in media.
Dancehall and me everything.
Okay, good evening. Welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alex Swaby, working with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass. And you look beside me, you'll see Jerome Jarrett. So you know it's the NFL segment, Jerome Gridiron. So it's the NFL is over, so to speak. After the Super Bowl, the Eagles came out on top. Only Paul predicted that. So
What do you mean only Paul predicted that?
Only Paul predicted it. You wanted the Eagles to win, but you did not predict them to win. So
Alex, stick to me. Stick to me.
So, let me turn it over to you to spin it. Let me turn it over to you to spin it.
We have the tape, you know. We have the tape.
Yes, we do.
We have the tape.
Let me turn it over to you to spin it, or you want to spin it. I know
There's no spinning it.
Paul was the only one. You said that you wanted the Eagles to win because you didn't want a three-peat. However, you did not believe that they were going to win.
Sorry, Alex, listen to the tape. Listen to the tape. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. As is the first where Jerome was right this week. So I don't even know what you're talking about. But anyway, afternoon. Paul, we are wow boat. I don't understand. We are wow boat. What you want?
I agree with him. You were more hopeful. You were hopeful. Virgin. You just wanted the Chiefs to win. So that the Chiefs to lose, so it wouldn't stay in Tom Brady legacy. So you're not really up on the cards at all.
So because I'm not a fanboy, my prediction didn't count.
Actually, you are a fanboy. You are a fanboy, Jerome. Like you've been a fanboy. That's your middle name.
You hoped for the victory, but you did not predict it. You deep down, you thought the Chief would have won. But you were hoping that
you don't have nothing to do. You don't have nothing to do. Go on.
Man, I have the audacity to say him did predict it.
I did. I said three-peats are difficult and three-peats are impossible. That's why they have never been done.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay. So we need to play that tape there again.
No, we need to. Because my credibility is on the line, ladies and gentlemen, and I can't afford these gentlemen to be staining my credibility. I give credible journalism on this program every week, so I can't afford for
Thanks
that.
to Paul and Remy.
I can't afford for that to be tainted. But anyway, gentlemen, we had an interesting Super Bowl. Remy online, right?
Yeah, man, I'm here.
Yeah, man, I realize you're quiet, but that's fine. I understand.
I listen to your madness, that's why.
I understand why you're quiet. But some person might say it was a boring Super Bowl. Especially if you're a neutral. But Paul, and let me start with you. Giving credit where credit is due. The Eagles supporter among us. You thought the game was a dud, or you thought it was just a defensive masterclass by a team that was just completely overpowering one team?
Yeah, I have to go with the latter. It was a defensive masterclass. I mean, this is still the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not as if they're chopped liver. I think the defense for the Philadelphia Eagles went out there and proved that what they did throughout an entire season wasn't a fluke. And that is, they have a front four that can match up against anybody and create havoc. And the Kansas City Chiefs pretty much didn't have the pieces to stop them from just running havoc on the quarterback. And you saw that pretty much for the entirety of the game.
Remy, from the start of the game, the Chiefs seemed like the team that was there for the first time. I mean, the Eagles are not new to Super Bowl. I think this is their third Super Bowl in probably like the last 15, 20 years or something like that. So they're 8
years.
Huh?
Yeah, it's
8 years.
Well, about 7, 8 years, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so they're not new to the stage, but the Chiefs have been there the last I think 5 out of the last 6 times. But they started out the game pretty nervous. Does that show lack of preparation, or was it just the Eagles just coming out and just enforcing their dominance right off the bat?
I think I go with the latter. It kind of reminds me of a saying that Mike Tyson used to use. Everybody has a plan until they get hit in the face. And I think what happened really early is that the Chiefs realized that they couldn't block the Eagles' front four. When they came out throwing, because I think they only ran one running play in the first 10, 15 plays, something like that. And they realized that they could not block Philly's front four. And I think it just really, it kind of set them in a a downhill frame of mind from very, very early out. So I don't think it was a lack of preparation. I think, they had a makeshift offensive line. It kind of reminded me of the Super Bowl when they played Tampa a few years ago.
Yeah, Brady, just make sure you mention the play Tom Brady. But what I found interesting though, Paul, let me go back to you, is that Andy Reid made no adjustments, right? You saw the passing game not working. You saw, they didn't even try to run the ball, but you saw they were getting home with 4. How about some screens, some draws to try and get the pass rush on their heels? I saw no creativity from Andy Reid. I mean, he probably chose the worst time for his and Patrick Mahomes' lowest moment, but that lack of adjustment just didn't make sense to me.
I think that's a sound criticism. I think you look at it from a standard football perspective. You need to put a defense on their heels, or at least keep them guessing by not committing yourself to one way of attack. But the reality of it is, I don't think the Eagles cared. I think when you have a situation where they did not blitz the entire game, they're only sending 4, and they're either getting to the quarterback or they're able to break up other plays, it just didn't make a difference. And I think what Kansas City found themselves and Andy Reid found themselves is that they didn't have answers. I mean, I would have still wanted to see earlier in the game where you kind of take some of the pressure off Patrick Mahomes, but they were committed to what I believe to be their dink and dunk kind of approach to this matchup. That's the strategy they had, and at the point where they get to halftime, it was pretty much too far gone for anything to matter anyway.
Yeah, Remy, we saw Patrick Mahomes, running for his life in a previous Super Bowl. You mentioned against the Bucs a couple of years ago. We saw him this week again. Is it just a case of rattling? Any quarterback is different when pressure is there. But he looked pretty human. Last week I asked the question and I was scoffed at when we were doing the tail of the tape. Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts, and the consensus was that Patrick Mahomes is in a different stratosphere than everybody else. But this game made him seem human, right?
Very much so, but it's not just, you see, all right, here's the thing. Pressure is one part of the equation, right? And he was under a lot of pressure. But the other part of it too is that the coverage by the Philadelphia Eagles, the linebackers and the defensive backs, they did not put a step wrong for the majority of the game, because even when Mahomes was able to evade the rush, he was still holding on to the ball. And the reason he was doing that, he literally had nowhere to go with it. So when you have the front end, the front 4 pressuring you, and then the other 7 guys in coverage, upholding their end of the bargain and basically blanketing the receivers, there's not really much Mahomes could do. So I find it interesting that, people talking about, criticizing him. I don't think any quarterback, when you have a defense playing on that level, would have made much of a difference.
We've seen one number 12 that has done it, but let's leave that conversation for a little later.
Let's not go there.
We're going there. We are going there.
No, we're not going there. No, we're not going there.
We're going there. We're going there. We're going there. As a matter of fact,
you are going there. We're not.
As a matter of fact, let's go there right now. So before the Super Bowl, there was a conversation that if Patrick Mahomes had 3 straight, the good conversation would probably, he wouldn't have overtaken Brady, but the conversation would have been that the Super Bowl, the conversation is now narrowed. Brady's still way out there with 7. He has 3. Way out there with 7. He has 3. This 3-peat would have put him to 4, and it would also, say he's had something. He's had something that Brady has never had. But no, Patrick Mahomes actually has 2 things Brady has never had. He's been blown out in 2 Super Bowls. Paul, let me hand this back to you. Is the GOAT conversation now wider than it's ever been before, given that Tom Brady has never been blown out in a Super Bowl? We've seen him in a Super Bowl with a 21-point deficit, and he came back to win. He lost a combined 3 Super Bowl by, I think, 15 points. Patrick Mahomes has lost 2 Super Bowl by a total of 40 points. Brady, we saw Peyton Manning get blown out in a couple of Super Bowls, but we've never seen Tom Brady get blown out in a Super Bowl. Is the GOAT conversation finished in your mind?
I don't think it's finished. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is, 29 years old. He has several years left in his career, and I think if you're going to assume that is the last time we'll see him on the Super Bowl stage, you're making a mistake. I will more aptly say that for now, it is quieted. You have to kind of sit back, and he needs to build up more of a legacy to bring him to a place where you can make mention of him in that particular category. Maybe when he gets to 5 and he's pursuing 6, if he does get there, then we can start re-entering that conversation. Because contextually, you can't compare what he went up against with the Philadelphia Eagles to what Tom Brady did with the Falcons. It's just not the same type of team.
No, I don't. The Legion of Boom was a much better defense than this defense that was on Sunday night. The Legion of Boom was an all-time defense. So don't even go there.
Okay.
Don't even go there.
Okay, and what's your point?
You're saying Tom Brady has never faced anything close to what Patrick Mahomes went through this Saturday.
I never mentioned Tom Brady's name once. I never mentioned Tom Brady's name once. I'm making it primarily about, don't try to compare Tom Brady's comeback against the Atlanta Falcons defense to Patrick Mahomes trying to come back against what was the best defense of the year and one of their best games they played all year when they played last week. Two different things.
The difference is Brady would never allow to be down 34-0. So that's one thing.
All right.
That's one thing.
Yeah, all right. You're gonna worship your leader.
It's not worship, but it is what it is. Remy, I'll ask you the same question. Is the GOAT conversation now over in your mind? Because Paul is saying if Patrick Mahomes can get to 5, in order for him to get to 5, he would have to continue to beat Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and also get through the Philadelphia Eagles and get through the Lions, and he would have to continue to beat these teams for the next 3-4 years. Do you see a situation where Patrick Mahomes continue to ascend and get to 5, 6?
I mean, these things are really difficult to predict because I think it's also highly dependent on how long Andy Reid continues to coach. So, he has Mahomes is 3-2 right now. I think I always thought that the GOAT conversation was premature as far as Patrick Mahomes is concerned. It's
blasphemy, not premature.
Hold on, let me finish. Last week, I did think if he did 3-peat, that is a huge feather in his cap. But I don't think that automatically makes him the GOAT. And the thing with the whole GOAT discussion is that there is no universally accepted criteria as to who is the GOAT. It can be all just about championships. There is dominant statistics, style of play. There's so many things that people.
Brady has all those boxes checked. He has all those boxes checked.
Well, you can't tell your own play. I mean, I think
what stylistic? Him don't throw behind the back passes and left-handed passes and no-look passes. That's what we're talking about.
What I'm saying is that I think that there are some people right now. I'm not saying that I'm one of them who will tell you that they think that Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Tom Brady. I don't believe that. But
Peyton Manning has
people get.
Peyton Manning has 4 or 5 MVPs. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers has 4 MVPs.
Right.
Brady killed him every year in the Super Bowl. So stylistic
but
is.
You say again. You say you're turning this into an individual thing, and that's why I don't really like these GOAT discussions. Because when you say that Tom Brady has never been blown out in a Super Bowl, I guarantee you, if Patrick Mahomes had Bill Belichick as his head coach, we could say the same thing.
Yeah, but he has Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo.
No.
He has Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo. What more you want?
No, you want. You know what you want more? You want Bill Belichick, because when you have Bill Belichick, you can score 13 points in a Super Bowl and win.
And Steve Spagnuolo held Steve Spagnuolo held the greatest offensive team in history to 14 points in a Super Bowl.
And who was the quarterback of that offense?
One, Tom Brady.
Thank you very much. Checkmate. Can we move on?
No, it's not checkmate, but at least they weren't blown out. They lost the game by 3 points.
I'm just saying. No, look, first of all, and the reason they lost the game by 3 points is that Belichick's defense did their job.
No. Belichick's defense let him down. Tom Brady gave them the lead with 3 minutes left in the game.
No. Hold on, Jerome. You have a situation with the greatest offense of all time, averaging 40 points a game.
I gave you the lead with 3 minutes left. Close it out.
come in.
If you are the greatest,
scoring less than half the average, and that's Belichick's fault.
Sorry, if you were the greatest defensive coordinator of all times, I gave you the lead.
I have nothing more to say.
I gave you the lead with 3 minutes left in the game.
I have nothing.
Close it out.
I have nothing.
Don't allow Eli Manning to throw a helmet pass in the middle of the field with his eyes closed.
Hold on a second. So why leave it to 3 minutes? If you had this dominant offense and this all-time great quarterback, why weren't you scoring before?
This is a Super Bowl. Anything can happen.
Okay.
This is Super Bowl.
Why weren't you scoring before?
This is Super Bowl. But anyway,
why weren't you
in every single Super Bowl,
leave it to 3 minutes to go?
in every single Super Bowl that Brady has lost, every Super Bowl Brady has lost, he's given his team the lead in the fourth quarter. Every single one.
Why are we talking about Tom Brady when the man not even in the league anymore? Can we talk about the Super Bowl?
No, you guys brought it up. You guys brought it up. You guys brought it up.
We never brought up anything.
All right. So Paul, let me get back to you again. So we have a couple of persons that in this game that their legacy was kind of on the fence before this game. I want to know what does the Super Bowl means for their legacy. Let me start with you first, Jalen Hurts. What does the Super Bowl now means for Jalen Hurts?
I think it solidifies him as one of the best winners in the game right now. It pretty much silences a lot of the critics that he's had over the years. This is a young man that came in to replace a first-round pick by the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's had success at all different opportunities and levels, both in college and in the NFL. And now that he's been a championship in an environment where the Josh Allens of the world and the Lamar Jacksons of the world have not been able to beat number 15, that carries a lot of clout. And he's just going to be building his legacy from here on out.
All right. Remy, Nick Sirianni, we saw, even last week we asked the question, who has the edge here in coaching? And it would appear that Nick Sirianni outcoached Andy Reid on the biggest game of his life. We've seen 2 Super Bowls now where Nick Sirianni has really coached well. All he does is win. I mean, people in Philadelphia don't like him, his own players don't like him, but the team wins. What does a Super Bowl now do for Nick Sirianni's legacy?
Well, I think it cements him in, definitely in Philadelphia's history as a sports icon, because the only other coach that's won a Super Bowl with them is Doug Peterson. And I would be careful in the phrasing of he outcoached Andy Reid.
By far.
I don't want to say he didn't have nothing to do with it. I would never say that. Right? I think he's more of a CEO coach, and he's very dependent on his coordinators. But the coach of the game, in my opinion, for the Super Bowl was Vic Fangio. I think Vic Fangio far and away.
Well, Clement called a really nice game as well.
Dominated the game. No, let me tell you. I think the Eagles dominated on both sides of the ball, but I think the defensive dominance was so shocking that I thought that the offense kind of took a backseat to them, even though they were great themselves. And I think Jalen Hurts deserved the MVP. I think that even though Saquon wasn't impressive statistically, his presence was dominant because you could see the Chiefs were just keying in on him the entire time. But I would say that Sirianni is going to be a Philadelphia legend. And the way that team is built, and with the general manager, Howie Roseman, that team is going to be in the running again next year.
Yeah, talking about next year, let's start with the Chiefs. Early odds have the Chiefs as favorite next year to win the Super Bowl again. I mean, maybe Vegas knows something that we didn't. Maybe they watch a Super Bowl that we just didn't.
Apparently,
when you have a Travis Kelce who appears to be done. I don't know why the announcement don't come yet. You have players, fringe players that may want more money to play elsewhere, and they have some contract situation that they need to work out. But moving forward, let me start with you, Remy. What does next year and moving forward look like for the Chiefs? Are they justified to be favorites next year, in your mind?
I am mystified by that. I don't see how we consider the favorites based on the performance we just witnessed 6 days ago. I mean, it's not as if the game was close and Philip pulled it out at the last. I mean, they were annihilated. and the core of that Eagles team is going to be there, next year. And I think the
maybe
Chiefs
Vegas just trust the Chiefs more than they do Philly.
Well, I mean, their trust is misguided in what I see right now, because they're going to have to rebuild that offensive line. Starting with the tackles, and that's not an easy thing to do. And let's not forget, I mean, the AFC is not any joke conference. I mean, you still have Baltimore, you still have the Buffalo Bills, you have the Houston Texans, you have the Denver Broncos, you have teams, you have the Chargers along with Jim Harbaugh, you have teams that are going to be on the rise. So I would say, let's wait until the free agency period and the draft before we start, forming some opinions. And even then, that's a bit premature. But I have to say that they're the favorites right now. I don't agree with that.
Partly agree with Vegas. Is that disrespect to your Eagles, having the Chiefs named as early Super Bowl favorites next year? Is that a slap in your face? Do you take offense to that?
I don't take offense to it. I think it's a narrative that the league likes to pander to the Kansas City Chiefs. They have a quarterback that is a superstar for them, and they can say anything they want. At the end of the day, you have to play football, and you have to go out there and win the games that matter. I think Remy used the right sentiment. I'm somewhat confused as to how they came to that particular outcome, but ultimately, considering how competitive the AFC is, I am more or less expecting that team to still be relevant. I just don't know if they'll make it back as a favorite. I don't see that.
So what do you think the outlook looks like for the Chiefs? I know Remy said they have to fix that O-line. The back end of that defense, got torched in the Super Bowl. I mean, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown all had field days. Dallas Goedert had a decent day, not to write home about, but a decent day. But Jalen Hurts was comfortable. He wasn't touched at all in the Super Bowl. He was really relaxed. The Chiefs have holes. I don't see what's the reason for them being early season favorites, knowing they barely got past the Bills. I mean, Baltimore would have given them everything that they can handle in 2 games in the games they play recently. Joe Burrow is not going anywhere. The Houston Texans gave them everything they wanted and could handle in that game. What is Vegas seeing that we are not seeing?
I'm not quite sure. I mean, look, Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. I think he's still the best quarterback in the league, despite losing in the Super Bowl. But there are so many things that need to be addressed. Offensive line, what you're doing with Travis Kelce, the weapons that are around him, even if they get back everyone healthy, can they be potent enough and look somewhat like a threat as far as the offense is concerned? I mean, we're still talking about that team that won 15 games this season.
But 13-1 score games.
Dismiss them.
13-1 score games.
But I mean, I was just about to make that point. These are games that you make 1 or 2 plays, and another way they could have been pretty much 10-7, if not 9-8. I agree with my sentiment is I just don't understand how we get to this impression that it is a foregone conclusion that they will get back there without some subsequent changes happening with personnel, because they look woefully inadequate going against the Eagles. And I would dare say people will replicate that. And whoever gets a chance to go for one Myles Garrett, especially if it's in the AFC, watch out, because that team would be basically lacing themselves up to do the same thing to Patrick Mahomes.
How much of what the Eagles did? I'll ask you the question, Remy. How much of what the Eagles did is replicatable? I mean, not many teams can get the kind of pressure that the Eagles got with 4 without sending an extra blitz. How we saw Patrick Mahomes in a similar situation with the Bucs Super Bowl, because the Bucs was getting pressure with 4. Are there any other teams? We saw the Houston Texans got some early success in that game, but are there any other team? I don't think the Houston Texans can do what the Eagles did, but was there really a blueprint? How duplicatable was that performance?
Well, I mean, to use the phrase, now the blueprint is out. That's what I've been hearing all week. I think that's a bit of hyperbole, because the Eagles have unique personnel. and not everybody has a personnel that Philly has. I mean, Philly is one of those teams that can, get there with 4. They have very athletic linebackers. They have a solid secondary. I mean, there are no holes on the Eagles' defense. None. I mean, maybe the Chargers could do it, but I don't know about, the edge rushers, Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. I mean, they're kind of getting up there in age, and they tend to get dinged up a lot. The Texans, possibly. But, I mean, ideally, it's not a secret. I mean, if you can get pressure with your
yeah, we know that. Anybody can get pressure.
That's not news.
That's not news.
To be able to do it, in the NFL is as hard. And I think there's a reason why, we saw the Chiefs look like they didn't belong in the Super Bowl, because there's just only one team right now that could do it. I take Paul's point, though, that if there's a team that has a pass rush and adds Myles Garrett to their pass rush, then now we'll have maybe another team that could do it. But, I think that narrative is kind of overplayed. I mean...
Yeah, but does the Eagles have anybody with Myles Garrett-ness? If that's a word. Well, that's definitely not a word, but the Eagles don't have any... They don't have any household names. You know what I mean? They make Hassan Reddick walk.
Guys that as a line can create pressure. You don't need... Myles Garrett is like an abundance of riches. It's like having the most beautiful girl in the world, and then you have 3 other women who are A1 following her. Like, it's not really necessary. It's overkill.
I don't know if that's the best. I don't know if that's the best analogy, but okay.
Well, let me just jump in here. I think that one of the things that the Eagles have that really cause problems for quarterback is that interior rush. It's not just the edge rush. So when you have Jalen Carter, who is a problem, by the way, along with the nose tackle, I think Milton Williams, they're pushing the lineman necessarily into the quarterback space, and then you can't go to the left or the right because you're getting pressure from the edge. So I think what really sets the Eagles apart is the interior rush along with the rush from the edge. So Jalen Carter did not have a single tackle in the game, but his impact was felt.
Yeah, what the Eagles do, you just can't duplicate that. I don't see any team in the league that can.
Exactly.
That can. So, to say that the blueprint is there, every team know you need to get pressure with 4.
Well, let me set it up like this to just defend the point that I'm making. It's pretty much not about doing it exactly the way we did, but the emphasis as far as how you want to beat a Kansas City. Heck, any team is put yourself in a situation where you can make them predictable. And if you have the pieces in terms of the defensive players, you send them after the quarterback. Like, winning football games in the trenches always works. That formula is not going anywhere, and that was clearly evident last week.
Yeah, it was definitely. The Eagles abused the Chiefs on both sides of the ball, and that was clear. So talking about these Eagles now. So the Eagles have won, I think Paul, dating back to the last season, I think they've won the last 17 games that Jalen Hurts starts and finish. I think the one game this season, after starting 2-2, they lost. I believe that was a game against Washington that he got knocked out of the game. Right? But they've won every single game that Jalen Hurts has started and finished. Looking forward, I mean, you've lost Kellen Moore, which there's some sort of revolving door at offensive coordinator for this team. Not sure who is gonna be the replacement, but another ear in another person mouth in Jalen ears. Can this team, we heard Saquon Barkley talk the dynasty talk, and it's our turn. Do you see this team winning multiple Super Bowls?
I'm slow to go down that road. I think you kind of have to take every NFL season within context. I mean, look, what Kansas City did in terms of repeating and then even having an opportunity to quote-unquote repeat is not easy because of the entire way the NFL is set up. That Eagles team is going into another season where I think history is against them. NFC East teams don't repeat as champions. The Commanders are getting better. If the Commanders, with all of the cap space that they have, a young rookie quarterback who's a star makes the right moves, I don't see it being a foregone conclusion that Philadelphia runs away with the division, much less the conference. So I'm more or less looking at it as a scenario like we have to focus now on repackaging the formula that we had and finding a way to continue this and sustain excellence. And that's going to be difficult as far as I'm concerned.
it shouldn't be that difficult to win the NFC East next season. Outside of the Commanders, the Cowboys should be getting dramatically worse. The Giants don't have a quarterback. I don't see. I thought when you guys played the Commanders 2 games, Jalen Hurts got hurt in one. You guys ran up the score after that. The Commanders, but the game that Jalen Hurts started and finished, you got hammered. The Commanders by 30. So I don't know if it's gonna be that difficult to repeat as NFC East champion, even though history says the NFC is the most topsy-turvy division in football. But no, topsy-turvy. It's a different season.
You can say it.
It's a different time. We've also seen quarterbacks in their first year blow it out the park, a la CJ Stroud, and second year, we've seen slumps. So let's pump the brake on Jayden Daniels just a bit. Let's see what happens next season. But Remy, looking forward, is the dynasty talk for the Philadelphia Eagles premature? And am I talking too harshly about your Commanders?
Well, first of all, I definitely think that the whole dynasty thing, I don't start to talk dynasty until you win back-to-back. They won last week, and they deserve it. They were far and away the best team in the postseason. Like I said, well-deserved. As for, I agree with what Paul said. You have to take each season as its own entity, and a lot can change between now and September when the season kicks off. So I think the NFC East is going to be competitive as always. You make a really good point that we'll have to wait and see how Jayden progresses in year 2, see how defenses play him. But I don't expect any huge drop-offs, because I think we're also going to be adding some pieces. Washington's going to be adding some pieces offensively. I really hope they focus on the line. But I think the Eagles are really set up to make a run because of how they're built fundamentally, which is they're very strong in the trenches. And I think they have the best general manager in the sport.
Yeah, definitely.
Howie Roseman knows how to, make good deals, that are cost effective. And at the same time, he knows how to identify weaknesses and fix them immediately. Last year the Eagles were the 25th ranked defense overall, and this year they're number 1.
Yeah, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised they trade for Luka Doncic. Like they get everybody they want. Like the Eagles. I don't know how they do it. I really don't know how they do it.
I think the Eagles. Once they added 2 years ago, they added AJ Brown, and that was big. And they not only do it in free agency, but they hit in the draft. They got Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. A couple years ago, they got Jalen Carter.
White corners. Who knew? Who knew corners could be white?
Yeah. Pick 6 in the Super Bowl too.
On his birthday.
Maybe that's why Mahomes decided to try him. He said he's a white guy. Maybe I can.
Oh Lord! It doesn't happen. I think they're the only team with white cornerbacks. It don't happen.
If anybody is listening, I just like to say that was a joke. Just messing around, right?
No, it is what it is.
You could be purple and play cornerback. I don't really care.
It's facts.
I think the Eagles are very well set up. For next season, but we know, there's this thing called injuries. Other teams get better, and the NFC have some stud teams that are due to rebound. Like when Detroit is healthy, suppose Detroit ends up landing Myles Garrett. Imagine Aiden Hutchinson and Myles Garrett in Detroit.
They wouldn't stay healthy for the year. You have some teams that are just cursed. The Lions, the Bills, they're just cursed. Like no matter what happened during the season,
Manchester United.
It's gonna come crumbling down in the playoffs. It is what it is. We've seen this script over and over and over. The Bills are cursed. The Lions are cursed. We just know it. We just know it. It is what it is. But Paul,
at some point that narrative don't carry weight, brother.
At some point they have to prove you wrong. At some point they have to prove you wrong.
Okay.
And
we shall see.
The Bills have gone to 4 straight Super Bowl and lost all of them. They've taken Patrick Mahomes to 13 seconds. 13 seconds. You just need to keep them out of field goal range in 13 seconds, and you couldn't do it. Like they're just cursed. I don't know. The Detroit Lions this year, unbeatable, blowing out everybody all year. Even though the defense was bad, they were still beating people like a pulp. Jayden Daniels went into Detroit and beat them. It's just cursed. It's just cursed. I can't put it any other way. But anyway, Paul, the revolving door at offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. We see Kellen Moore, getting the head coaching job in New Orleans. I don't know if our offensive coordinator has been announced yet for your Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think I saw that. How will this stifle the continued development of Jalen Hurts? Or you think Jalen Hurts is now at the stage where it doesn't even matter who his offensive coordinator is?
I won't dismiss the whole notion of having a new offensive coordinator for your team, but I think proof of concept has already shown that with all of the changes he's had, particularly from the perspective of just having a culture in place where he can win, not only Jalen, but the team has been able to overcome that. My biggest concern is them being able to go into another season and committing themselves to focusing on the running game. Will we evolve? And I even said it walking into the Super Bowl that while I want them to stick to the run, if the opportunity presents itself to throw the ball, take it. And they did just that. Big picture perspective, if you're an offensive coordinator coming in, I don't expect you to come and try to change the apple cart. Don't try and adjust something that's already obviously working. If anything, we need to supplement. So I expect there to be some continuity here and some success to sustain that level of excellence that they had this past season.
Yeah, but you saw Jalen Hurts take several steps back when he lost Shane Steichen as his offensive coordinator, and we saw him, a couple of years, just not being himself. Could this be another situation like that where he's found such a partnership with Kellen Moore that the loss of Kellen Moore, reverts him back to the mean?
I don't think so. And again, it goes back to the simplicity of the current offense. It's you have a dominant offensive line, you have a stout defense. You don't need to take high risk plays and go there to try and win football games. And if we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, let me say what it is. Sometimes simplicity is the best formula for success. And he's not demonstrated to me to have the level of impact passed down to him negatively when there is a change in his offensive coordinator. Even in the season when we nosedive, people forget that we were 10-1. And something happened that was not football related. We never know. But something happened not football related. And that's when the team regressed. Plus he had a bum knee. So, I'm not dismissing it, but I don't think it's going to be a dire circumstance as people expect it to be.
All right, jumping from the Super Bowl now, we continue to talk about Kellen Moore. Remy, this question, I'm showing this question to you. We saw Kellen Moore change a couple of teams. We saw him getting demoted in Dallas. We saw him spending a year with Justin Herbert before he got the boot to the Eagles. Now he's a head coach. 3 teams in 3 years. Do you see this working in New Orleans when they don't even have a quarterback at this point?
I think New Orleans, I think that job stayed vacant the longest for a reason. I don't think it's the best setup. And you hit the nail on the head. They don't have a quarterback. If ownership, decides that they're going to, okay, we're going to rebuild and we're going to give them a couple of years to, implement this program. They have a chance. Right, I do have some pieces with Olave. The defense is kind of hot and cold, but I think that they have to go back to finding out who they are as a team. You still have Alvin Kamara. You probably need to get that draft another running back. You need to fix the lines, etc. But the key thing is, can Spencer Rattler play? They took him in the 5th round last year. Are you going to stay with Derek Carr? I don't know what the Saints' plan is. And the funny thing is, if the Saints are halfway decent, they're in a division where they have a shot to win it. I like what Tampa's done. Atlanta, is on the rise, but they're not out of it. So to say if it's gonna work, I really don't know. Right now I'm kind of just wait and see mode, and I'm leaning more to the pessimistic side.
Yeah, Paul, let me throw this question to you. The same question. Is Kellen Moore? You think this will be his 4th team in 4 years? The New Orleans Saints, they have the 9th pick. You're not gonna get no top flight quarterback with the 9th pick. There is a couple quarterbacks on the market. You're talking about people like Sam Darnold. You're talking about Aaron Rodgers. You're probably talking about You know, I'm trying to think, but is this? Do you trust Kellen Moore with a team, not just your offense? Because we've seen him get demoted in Dallas, we saw him get run out of town in LA before finding some success here. You know, I mean, I don't know which offensive coordinator wouldn't be successful with this team, but do you think Kellen Moore is set up for success, and do you think he's the right man for this job in New Orleans?
I mean, look, I think the bigger question for me is why would he have taken that opportunity? And it probably boils down to the fact that, you know, there are only so many of these teams and so many opportunities for you to be a head coach. That being said, if you don't have a quarterback, if you don't have a signal caller that's at least competent, it doesn't matter how well you call plays or how good of a leader of men you have the potential to be. Your success is hinged on that. And I don't necessarily see him coming into that situation and immediately making a turn for the better. My anticipation or hope is that he'll have an opportunity to build something there. And when they are in a better position to get the quarterback that they really want, let's assess and see exactly how successful he'll be. But right now, this is purely about he's the quote-unquote most competent person that they wanted to hire. And they wanted someone with an offensive background, and they pulled him in, and he took the opportunity.
Yeah, Remy, Mike McCarthy, you know, he bet on himself. Did not take the offer that Jerry Jones made to him. I believe Jerry Jones made some other calls to some other owner and said, "Look, don't hire this guy." Mike McCarthy don't have a job right now. Do you think Jerry Jones have anything to do with the reason why Mike McCarthy is unemployed?
I think so, because I think Mike was interested in the Chicago job, and you know, Jerry Jones, as he tends to do, lags and waits before making decisions, and I think that he, you know, held on to McCarthy or led him to believe that, you know, there'd be talks, and then the offer that he made was just not what McCarthy expected, and then before you know it, the Bears took what's his name, Ben Johnson from Detroit. So I think that is a part of it. I think also you have to give McCarthy, you have to take some of the blame. Because, listen, if you want out, you've been there for, what, 4 years? You're there from 2020? Or was it 5 years? You've had some success. You had 3 straight seasons of 12 wins. You know the working dynamic between you and Jerry Jones. I think Mike McCarthy should have said, you know what, I'm out, and just leave. But I think he wanted to stay in Dallas. And I do think McCarthy is a good coach. But I think he made a mistake in, quote-unquote, trusting Jerry Jones and seeing if they could, you know, work something out.
Paul, you see Mike McCarthy coaching the NFL again, or you think, you know, going against Jerry Jones and losing is a career-limiting move?
I think he gets another opportunity. I'll be very honest. I think this cycle, in and of itself, there might have been an invisible hand there impacting the prospects that he would be viable for. I won't call any names. But from my perspective, I mean, this is still a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's still someone that knows the game and understands the game. And I think, considering how fluid the NFL situation is right now, all it takes is just one circumstance where a planned hire for a head coach don't work, or someone who's already on the fringes not necessarily panning out the way they should. And he'll get another opportunity. It's unfortunate, because I think Remy's right on the button. He played the entire situation with Dallas poorly, and he should have made a move to just cut his ties and move on as soon as that was the case. I wouldn't even have negotiated with Jerry. Jerry told you how he felt about you when he allowed your contract to get all the way down to the tail end of the season. So it is what it is for now for Mike McCarthy.
Talking about cutting loose, the New York Jets has cut loose Aaron Rodgers. Told the 40-plus-year-old quarterback that we no longer have you in our plans. We no longer want you on our roster. We don't want you in our building. You know, you can go to your darkness retreat if you want. You can go smoke ayahuasca if you want, but you can't do it here. The Jets.
You are enjoying that way too much.
The man said with a certain Remy.
The Jets are out of the Aaron Rodgers business. The Jets are out of the Aaron Rodgers business. I've been out for a very long time, as you guys will know. But is this the end for Aaron Rodgers? You know, Remy, should Aaron Rodgers be looking to continue his career? You know, he's a first ballot Hall of Fame based on the numbers, not based on the person. But should he be looking work elsewhere? Or should he just call it a day?
You're just going scorch earth on your boy Aaron tonight, eh? I think there are some teams that could use a veteran quarterback. Certainly, I don't think they should sign to anything more than a one-year deal. I mean, so you have teams like, maybe Tennessee, the Raiders possibly is another spot where he could land. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think Aaron Rodgers was that bad last season. I think he was just on a bad team.
He was bad. Stats a lie. He was bad. Watch the game. Watch the game. He was bad.
No, there are some games where he definitely looked terrible. And you said the thing with Aaron is that he was not one of the more fundamentally sound quarterbacks in terms of mechanics. I mean, he played a very unorthodox way, and which is what made him fun to watch. But coming off an Achilles injury and being older, he can't move the way he used to move and make the kind of throws and contort his body. So he just can't do that anymore. So I mean, I think whether he comes back or not, I really think it's 50-50. I see him more retiring because, quite frankly, I don't think Aaron Rodgers has anything left to prove at this stage. As you rightly say, he's a first ballot Hall of Fame, Super Bowl champion, 4-time MVP. Considered one of the greatest quarterbacks ever played the game. I mean. But I think he might have that competitive taste. I mean, he might still want to play with a Tennessee or the Raiders, but I think he needs to take some time, weigh his options, and then do what he feels is best for him.
Or he could just do what everybody wants him to do and go to Minneapolis and just follow Brett Favre where Brett Favre has been. Let's do everything Brett Favre did.
I don't think that's gonna happen, but.
Yeah,
just go to
Minnesota.
Just go to Minnesota. Just go to Minnesota and call it a day. Just go to Minnesota and call it a day. But Aaron Rodgers, I'm glad to see you're back. Like, just go. Just call it a day. Don't come back. Just go. Just go.
That's what you really feel.
Alric is running me out of the studio. Alric is giving me an Aaron Rodgers.
Don't do a Tom Brady. Gentlemen, we've come to the end of this segment. But before we go, I just want you to take a listener of this. Kevin?
I am making my pick squarely on Badman. It's just Badman. I don't want to see a repeat. So this is the credible journalism. This is the credible journalism. My pick is just straight Badman. I don't want to see a repeat. Tom Brady didn't do it, so nobody should be able to do it. That's just it.
Wow.
That is just it.
Wow.
And I
apologize.
While I don't see. I can't say I don't see the Eagles beating the Chiefs, because I can't see a world where the Eagles beat the Chiefs. I just think the Chiefs rise to these occasions better than anybody else. I think the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes have a Michael Jordan-esque-ness about him where he just rises above. Every game that he's played, that he's been the underdog, he just rises above it. The only game that he's ever been blown out by is the one Tom Brady. I don't know. You know him, right? You've heard about him, right?
Need I say more?
I said pick. I said my pick. I said my pick.
Need I say more?
My pick. I said my pick. I gave my pick. I said my pick is based on no. My pick. I specifically said my pick. My pick is based on Badman. My pick. So clearly what my pick was the Eagles.
Okay.
My pick was the Eagles. I said my pick. I said my pick. I don't understand where's the debate.
The one that died a natural death, bro.
No, I don't see where the debate is. I gave Patrick Mahomes his flaws, but I said my pick is based on Badman.
The man the whole flower shop. You're giving Valentine's gift with chocolate bar and teddy bear. What you talking about? You're taking for a date. Come on now.
Good one. But anyway, my pick was the Eagles, and that was where Jerome was right.
Okay. With that, we take a break and we come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
For over 30 years,
Chris and Charles has been financing your goals, dreams, creating your great moments. Celebrate the occasion with us. Borrow $1 million, pay less than $25,000 monthly, and get 30% off your processing fees. No guarantor needed. Call 876-920-4189 or WhatsApp 876-838-9028. Conditions apply. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
Attention, attention, contractors and developers. Are you looking for reliable equipment and tools to get the job done? Look no further than L&R Equipment Tools and Haulage, your one-stop shop for all your project needs. They have cranes ranging from 60 to 30 ton, bucket trucks, man lift, scissor lift, and telescopic forklift. Call them at 876-546-8333 or visit 6C Penrith Road for more information. L&R Equipment Tools and Haulage. Rent it, lease it, buy it.
We have all been there. You feel the flu coming on and you want to catch it early before you start feeling horribly sick. But between syrups, rubs, drops, pills, and sprays, it's hard to know what to use for which symptom. Don't worry, when it comes to everything cold and flu, choose Pharmacold and Flu. This little tablet relieves nasal congestion, sore throat, pain, and fever. Get on with your day with Pharmacold and Flu. Distributed by Massey Distribution.
Okay, good evening. Welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alex Weber, working with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass. We go over again to Wayne Walker to see where he is at now and what's the latest as what's happening whichever meet he's at now. Wayne?
Well, Alex, I'm here at the National Stadium for the SW Isaac Henry Invitational. It is on in earnest at the moment. They're going through the 11th or 12th segment of the Class 2 boys 200 meters at the moment. There are quite a number of 200 meters to go here this evening. But just to bring you up to date with some results that we have, the 110 meters hurdle for boys, that went to Daniel Clark of Kingston College. He did 13.60 seconds, and he defeated his teammate Raven Walkin 13.92, and third was Shakira Lewis, Ultimaker College, 14.20 seconds. And the girls 100 meters hurdles class 1, Amoy Kentish from Excelsior High School did 14.21 seconds to win that section, and she defeated Brianna Davidson of St. Jago 14.38 seconds, and Shelley and Taylor of Excelsior 14.40 seconds. The boys 400 meters class 1 went to Jordan Fitzgerald of Port Antonio High School. No, that's incorrect. From Papine. So it's Jordan Fitzgerald from Papine, 48.04 seconds. Second was Junior Gallimore from Calabar, 48.25. And Nicoy Bramwell of Calabar, 48.25. So both Calabar boys are credited with the same time in the 400 meters class 1 for boys. The 200 meters class 1 boys ran off earlier, and that is why they now have the class 2, and they'll go down to class 3. Ian Barker from St. Catherine High School did 21.47 seconds, and that was the fastest of the 21 heats that were ran in the class 1 boys, class 1 boys 200 meters. Kendrick Sharp over St. Mary High School, 21.49 was second, and third was Raquel Reed of Excelsior, 21.54. The girls class 1 200 meters, that title went to Samoya Brown. She's from Immaculate Conception High School. She did 24.64. Second was Tiana Rooms over St. Mary High, 24.75. And Angelina Ferguson of Dynamics Club, 24.78 seconds. In the class 1 boys 400, in fact the class 1 girls 400 meters, Divine Dickinson of Immaculate Conception, she did 56.76 seconds to win, ahead of DeAndrea Harris from UTEC, 57.01, and Samoya Brown from Immaculate, 57.15. The 400 meters hurdles open for girls went to Shakira Reed of Gainstead, a minute 04.03, and the second went to Ariana Moody from Port Antonio, a minute 04.15. The mixed 4x400 meters relay for girls, that went to St. Catherine High School in 3 minutes 46.39. St. Andrew was second, 3 minutes 57.48. and third was Dunoon, 4 minutes 34.26 seconds. The turnout here, similar to what we saw at the Camperdown Classic, quite a number of spectators packed into one area in the grandstand. There's sprinkling of supporters in the bleachers. The bleachers is open, but of course spectators have found themselves in those areas as well. There are cool conditions prevailing here at the National Stadium, and it's a very, very good evening for track and field. You know, a lot has been made of the National Stadium, and whether it's going to be ready for Gibson, which is Saturday coming, and Boys and Girls Championship, which is the last weekend in March. And I can tell you what, let's start with the track first. To begin with, the color is dirty. It needs a brand new laying of a track, which I'm sure is being considered, and this is what they've been thinking of. But just looking at it from a distance, it looks really, really, really dirty, and it's not in the greatest of shape. It's not kept, believe me. And you have Independence Park Limited that's responsible for the upkeep of the National Stadium facility. And when you look at how the stadium track is looking at the minute, it's a shame, really. The field itself now, the national football team was scheduled to play St. Vincent and the Grenadines here. That game has been shifted to Sabina Park. And based on how the stadium field looks, it doesn't seem as if they could even host a game in December if they asked them to do so. It's pretty patchy, and you wonder what has brought it to be. Put it this way, the facility inside the National Stadium is poor, and it's a real disgrace.
Right. Okay then, Wayne, thanks much for that report. We come back to you later on and see what's happening. Okay, Wayne Walker at the National Stadium for the S.W. Isaacs Memorial Meet. We take a quick break and come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Outperform, outlast, we top performance, Jackama, reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Fancy select tools, free parts and free repairs. Free parts, free repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-61124. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
Trust, integrity, compliance. These are the pillars of a strong business. And at Dodge & Global, our audit services ensure your financial statements are accurate and reliable. Stay compliant and gain investors' confidence with our expert auditors. Call us today at 876-929-3670 or 876-926-5210. Email us at info@dodgen.global. Visit us at dodgen.global. Dodge & Global, smarter and more effective decisions.
Share in the experience at Fontana Pharmacy. We have a wide variety of items in store just for you. Fill your prescriptions while you shop. And senior citizens enjoy 10% off. Shop household, cosmetics, toys, and many other departments. We also offer curbside pickup and delivery. Visit our website at fontanapharmacy.com. Fontana Pharmacy, where it's all good inside.
My Mega
With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills. Fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
Okay, good evening. Welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alex Faber working with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass. This is our Splash segment where we dive into the pool. And the 13-member Wahoo swim team finished 10th at the recent Caldwell House Memorial Invitational Meet with 47 points. Their coach, Lloyd Allen, says they were able to achieve their goals at the meet.
our goals are really for them to do their PBs. As long as you improve your time meet, it will say that the training is getting somewhere. It say that we are a bit more focused and we are getting result from what we do. I tell them if we win, fine, but the emphasis is on trying to build your self-esteem, seeing that, okay, I did train 2-3 weeks, and yes, here I've improved my personal best by 2 to 3 seconds. Some of them are improving by 5-6 seconds. So we are basically achieving our goals.
Coach Lloyd Allen, and we have the man in studio with us. Coach, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Okay, our pleasure. Let's start by you introducing. Tell us a little bit more about the club. Not a lot of persons would be familiar with Wahoo Swim Team. Tell us a bit more about the club, how it started, number of swimmers you have, stuff like that.
Well, the club started over 15 years ago, and we had about 7-8 swimmers, and it grew to over 20 swimmers then. COVID, as it has done to many teams, we had to stop training, and I gave the okay to my top swimmers to join Kaizen. Some went to Speedos, so we didn't have access to our home pool at that time, so I told them it was okay to join another team.
Right. And with that, let's jump into the recent meet, the Carl Dalhouse Memorial meet, the Y Speedo meet. Wahoo would have finished 10th, like we said earlier, with 47 points. I know going into a meet with 13 swimmers, winning the tournament wouldn't be on your mind. You would have mentioned some of the areas that you were targeting for your swimmers to improve. How much did you see they improve, and what were some of the areas that you know well, okay, after that swim I'll have to work on?
Well, technically we are big on trying to get the technique honed to the point where the swimmer is comfortable executing from the start, throughout the race and the finish. So we were basically, what I saw from the performances was that I was getting improvement, right, from them. And as I said before, that the times, as long as the times are trending down, we are heading in the right direction.
Right. And what's the size of your club now in terms of swimmers?
We have 25 swimmers now registered for this year. So we're hoping, and a lot of them are new swimmers, just gotten into the pool. Some are from the high school, and so they are mainly first formers. And when they came, they were not really able to even do 25 meters properly.
Right.
And now they are posting 50s, 40 seconds in a 50 meter, and I'm really excited to see the level of progress, and I'm anxious to see how they will fare out against the mainstream swimmers at the next meet.
Talking with a lot of our local swimmers, like most of our sports, the swimmers tend to prefer the sprint events, like just as in track and field. Tell me, is that what does your club feature? Is it that you cater to the sprint or all distance?
We are not yet open to the 1500 and the 400 meters. We are growing them. So we're now at the 200 meters and the 200 IMs. But so generally, for our team is basically 9 and younger.
Right.
So they are not allowed to enter anything over 200 meters.
Right.
And remember, they have to have BB time to get into the longer events. So we are trying to grow that. So we are gradually moving and trying to see how we can manage to even hold our own and strive to dominate if possibly.
But like I said earlier, not a lot of persons would be familiar with Wahoo. Tell us some of the standout swimmers who would have come out of Wahoo representing Jamaica at the regional level or even internationally.
Well, right now, Devon Robe is one of our products. He really is now in Florida and he made the character team on more than one occasion. We have swimmers who's into like Nathan Williamson.
Mm-hmm.
He now is at doing an engineering degree in Trinidad and Tobago.
Right.
So, and we have quite a few more, but they are transitioned. For instance, we have some who transitioned. They were liking football more, right? And that moved on into football. So some of our swimmers, although they started, as swimmers, they got a liking to other sports.
Yeah.
Basketball was Travis Brown was one of them, who went on, got a scholarship in basketball and just transitioned into basketball and was one rookie of the year and got a scholarship to a university in the USA. So we produce them, but they don't always stay, So, and it's because they're looking for the opportunity to get scholarships and so on.
Right. Tell me, when you decide to work with a swimmer, what do you look for in that swimmer or that person to say, okay, I can build this person into a world-class swimmer?
First thing is parental support, because the parent shows at the age they come to us, it's the parent who has the interest, and then we try to engender that into the child. So the parent is the one who sees that the child gets the training and all of that. And then we look at the interest the child has, how they're progressing, are they excited to go to meets, because some kids will train but doesn't want to go to a meet.
Okay.
So and right now I have a 4-year-old who's excited to go to every meet that we say she has, and I'm saying it. That's another one we have for the future. We have one who's turned 8, and she is in the top 4 right now in the island in most events.
Right.
So we are working, and it's the interest you see them display. For instance, the other day I was there's one parent decided that she would pull her daughter, and the child was there crying, no mommy, and saying, no, because when she started, she didn't really want to swim.
Okay.
Now she has gotten into it, she's loving it, her parent is elated at the progress that she has made, and she uses it now as one of the threatening points. If you don't study, if you keep leaving your stuff behind, I'm going to pull you. So we look at the way the child really connect with the sport, and then we say yes, and how they take to the training.
Right.
Because that's a big one. Because the way the interest they put out, because you have some children come and they play right through, while others, they're always looking for the coach's approval. Did I do good?
Right.
Devon Robe was like that. He would ask, the day before the meet, he would ask, Coach, am I ready? And then he start telling himself, I must win. So that's the passion needs to be there.
And tell me, you mentioned that there are swimmers who they'll come to the training, do well, but they don't want to compete. How do you work with swimmers like that, where you see the potential in them, but they are scared of competition? How do you work with swimmers like those to get them over that fear?
Well, it's a 2-part. It's getting the parent to decide that the coach knows what he's doing, right? And what I do with them is that I said the emphasis is not on winning. You go there, and if you like it, we move on. but let's try it. So, and it has really worked. There's just one swimmer who, when she realized she came last, because I said, no, you just came 8th in your event. I didn't realize she went to look at the board and realized that it was not just 8, it was 48th, and it was just 48 swimmers. And so she was there crying. But we said, just look at it as this today is going to be the worst day of your life. Now, when you move forward, at the next meet, you will never come last. We get back into training and we see what we can do. And she never ever came last again.
Right.
So the key is not to tell them, like some parents you would see, who insist, you didn't do good. I said, no, give them credit. You couldn't have done what they did. Give them credit and cheer them on. You usually can't beat a man when he's down, right? He's already down and you're beating up on them. So I just say, just come on, let's do it again.
Right. Tell me, where do you get your swimmers for your club? Where do the bulk of your swimmers come from? Is it word of mouth? Do you recruit? Where you get the bulk of your swimmers?
Well, unlike most clubs who go to another club and try to snatch a swimmer here or there, I build my swimmers.
Right.
They come to me unable to complete a length of the pool. And in a month or two, I've taken their time down by 20, 30 seconds. Just by improving the technique, just by instilling the confidence in them, encouraging them. So I get them into high school, right? And when they come, they want to join the team, but they're not at the requisite level. So a lot of them are coming from both prep and high. One parent said, Mr. Allen, stick with them. Just stick with her. She's going to be a champion soon. But that child couldn't finish the length of the pool.
Right.
Right now, she's in the top 15 right now. So we take them from whatever level they come at, as long as the parent is willing to entrust them to me. And then we move from there.
And if someone is interested in their child working with you at Wahoo, how do they go about that?
The process is we have the conversation, and you tell you what the club fees are, because they will make sure it's lower than everybody else.
Right.
And the process is birth certificate, and so we can register them with the national body. So, and once there, we move into trainings, the training times. They can agree with the training. Some would say I can't come more than 1 day a week. I said, well, let's start there.
But how do they reach you? Do you have a home base, or how do they get to you?
Well, my home base is Holy Child High School, and I have learn to swim classes, which feeds a lot of the younger ones into the program. As a matter of fact, Zara Baxter, she actually was coming to my learn to swim, and at the moment she was going half length of the pool, I told her mother, I think we could try to get her into the team now.
Right.
And it worked out. Her being a success now, she's just 9, and she was in the top 3 last year in 8 and under.
In terms of your schedule, when and when do you train?
We train after school, because we try to make it comfortable with the parent movement, because most of them are dependent on the parent taking them to training.
Right.
So we train at 3:30 to 5. Most time we go up to 5:30, but we release them once the parent comes and needs them.
And how many days of the week do you train?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and and Saturdays. So we put in 5 days so far. The little ones don't train twice a day, but we try to encourage the bigger ones to train twice a day. But they're not all from Holy Child High School. So I'll have to settle with the 4-day or include the Saturday,
right,
for the rest.
Right. You mentioned Holy Child, who you are also the head coach of. Tell me a bit about that program.
The swim program?
Right.
Well, I took over that swim program when I was track coach before, then took over the swim program when I realized it wasn't getting anywhere. You know, and the girls were complaining about the commitment of the coach and all of that. So I took it up and really found that it was a nice sport to go with, because I've been through 20 different sports, so I didn't see myself being the swim coach.
Right.
But then after I got into the program, I started liking it and realizing that I was getting the result, and the rest is history. I'm here still with it.
Like you said, you would have been familiar with over 20 sports. Tell me, how do you use your knowledge from other sporting disciplines to help you in swimming?
Well, I use a lot of the track and field workout in swimming, because strengthening the muscles. At tracks, you do a lot of running and plyometrics, right? And I realized that it helped, you know, because I tried to strengthen the core, strengthen the legs, strengthen the arms, and then the pool is one of the best therapists known. So whenever they are injured, the injury is dealt with in the pool. You know, because I used to help our track team, whereby they would come whenever they have injuries incurred, like shin splint and so on, and I administer therapy to them.
Why pool therapy is so effective?
Well, the body is not taking the pounding that it gets from the track.
Okay.
Right? So the fact that it's the muscles that are working now, and not the body being impacted, right, from that daily grind. You're out there running, and most of those injuries come from the stress fractures, you know. So we basically see improvement when we take them off and still keep them exercising, because that's the thing with swimming. You can still be exercising even with the injury and going through a therapeutic process. You know.
Well, let's go back to Holy Childhood. At the last high school swim meet, the Issa High School and the tertiary swim meet, Holy Childhood would have finished 10th at that meet. There are 2 other high school meets coming up. What's your plan for the school? Do you anticipate Holy Childhood moving up the table at these meets? What's your plan? What's your goal going into those meets?
Well, it should be better. A marginal increase is, I would say, an ambitious expectation. You know, we are not expecting to be winning at this time, because, as I say, we make our swimmers. We don't inherit the top swimmers in the island.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have Immaculate, Andrews and Campion, who by choice these swimmers select those schools,
right,
or transfer to those schools. We try to make the best with what we have, and that we have done pretty good, you know.
The meet that I'm talking about coming up is the ASAJ High School and Tertiary Institutions Championships, as well as the Mayberry meet. Those are the high school meets coming up. I mean, both has its place. But of these 2 meets, which do you put more priority on in terms of wanting your swimmers to compete?
Well, the upcoming ASAJ meet,
right?
Because there are flaws with the Mayberry meet. They are limiting the amount of entries to 16 per event, per age group.
Okay.
Right? And with that, you're excluding more than 60% of the swimmers who could have benefited from that meet, just to get a short meet, right? So they said I've signed off. I'm not really hoping or planning to go to that meet, because if your swimmer is not in the top 16 in the listing, right, then they will not have a chance to swim at that meet. The SAJ meet is more open, and it allows all schools and to bring your swimmer and give them that exposure, that will be lost at the Mayberry meet.
Okay, so the Mayberry is like
an elite thing.
But I wouldn't say elite. But what I would say is like champs, and then the others are like the development meets that qualifies you for champs. That's how I would put it.
You could put it that way.
That's how I would put it. So just as though when you go to development meet, then you have to have the qualifying time to go to champs.
But it should have been said way before.
I'm not saying that's it, but that's how you could explain it. But like I said, the ASAJ high school and tertiary institutions swim meet, that's always a good meet as well. But that meet is one day.
Yes, it is. Most of the high school meets are one day meet. I can't say there have been any in recent times that's been more than one day.
Right, but when you look at such a large meet, not a lot of the teams carry large number of swimmers to these meets. So I guess that's why the meet is only one day. When you look at the quality of competition that's at these meets, don't want to compare it to track and field, but when you look at what happens at track and field and what happened in swimming, how would you compare the quality of swimming that you see when you look at the quality of track and field athletes at the same age group?
I wouldn't separate it because the nation has produced real good swimmers. So I just like track and field, you see swimmers emerging, right, year after year. We do have them happening in the swimming fraternity. They're always swimmers emerging, so and because they move it's progressive, just like a track athlete comes in at class 4 and progress, and we are hoping to see them by class 1 at the top of the game, right, and getting a scholarship. It happens in swimming. It's just that the pool, there are more track athletes existing throughout Jamaica. And remember, there's a limited amount of pools throughout the island.
Right.
So that could be the one
difference.
Right, difference.
All right. But tell me, you're not the only coach at Wahoo. Who, if you just want to say thanks to the other coaches who would have assisted you, let me give you that opportunity.
Yes, I really want to appreciate the effort. But the parents, are really my strong backing, because without them, the club wouldn't exist. And Karen Baxter, who is my assistant coach, and we have Sean Thomas, who for morning, usually at stadium, I can't make it on a Saturday morning, and they keep everything going. The interest they have, I must say, I am truly, truly, truly elated to have them on board. And they're not just about their own kids, because they're all parents of the swimmers we have.
Right. Tell me, can we expect to see a Wahoo swim meet anytime soon?
There's been talk about it, but usually the times available, right, where you have the slots,
right,
really isn't what we would want to see, because there was a sprint meet, the Swim Jamaica sprint slot. I'm eyeing that slot.
Right.
We have been asked recently when is what we're going to have to host the swim meet. So we look at it and see if our sponsors, how far the sponsors can take us, and see if we can stand up to that.
I guess that would be the biggest challenge, finding sponsors for the meet.
Sponsors, right. So you need to have the finances. We hosted one, years ago before COVID. And it wasn't just us, it was a linkage of several small clubs, and we did a good job at it.
Right.
So I know, and I have the experience of organizing and all of that. So, because I have to organize sports day, this, that, for almost 40 years at Holy Child.
So when that swim meet come on board, you will be the chairman of the organizing committee then?
Doesn't have to be. I like to lead from back. I love that. But I'll be very much an integral part of it.
Finally, several regional competition coming up. Any of your swimmers you expect to be on the Jamaica team for the Carifta, CC Cannon and others?
No, it wouldn't be so now, because my strength is with the 9 going down.
Right.
So, and to be on the national team, you have to be 10 and up.
Okay.
So I'm waiting. My turn will come.
Okay then, Coach. Thanks much for your time, and I wish you and your team all the best.
Thank you.
By the time on the clock, we're at the end of our segment. Let me say thanks to everyone who made the show possible. Wayne Walker, who gave us report from the Favorite Distant Classic and the S.W. Isaac Memorial Beat at the National Stadium. The coach Lloyd Allen, Ryan Peralta, Dan Ellis, Jerome Jarrett, Remy Evans, and Paul Vaughan. My technical operator, Kevin Williams. I am Alex Raby saying God bless, and as usual, I hope that you will be in church on Sunday. If you don't have a local church to worship, you are welcome to worship with us at Tower Hill Missionary Church, 159 Olympic Way. God bless. Good night.
Is your business tax compliant? At Dodge & Global, we take the stress out of tax planning, ensuring you maximize deductions and minimize liabilities. From corporate tax to VAT compliance, we've got you covered. Call 876-929-3670 or 876-926-5210. Email us at info@dodgen.global. Visit us at dodgen.global. Dodge & Global, your tax experts.
The Global Tourism Resilience Conference. Tune in to Cliff Views Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from the Princess Grand Resort in Hanover on February 17. The third edition of the Global Tourism Resilience Conference brings together tourism leaders, innovators, and experts from around the world to engage in insights and ideas. Expect panel discussions, networking sessions, and presentations on how to future-proof the travel and tourism sectors. Tune in to Cliff Views Online on Monday, February 17 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Global Tourism Resilience Conference at the Princess Grand Resort in Hanover. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica Tourist Board.